Welcome into a cold and rainy Fort Gibson. We are here for the Battle of the Rock between the Fort Gibson Tigers and the Hilldale Hornets. We want to welcome you up to the booth. Seth Campbell joined alongside Dion Amade. And Dion, this is a rivalry game. Battle of the Rock, as we said, these two teams literally fight over a rock that is passed between them that they pulled out of the Arkansas River. So going into this game, with extra emotions, how do you handle those in a rivalry game?
Man, it's going to be tough. I mean, those rivalry games have a lot of emotions, like you said, and teams are playing not only for just to get a win, but also to, beat the team that you live closest to or the team that you have the most hatred in your heart for or against. So it's going to be interesting to see how emotions go and how this game gets started early.
As far as recently, this rivalry hasn't been even. Hilldale has won the last 5 games, but if you look at the total series history, this is the 37th meeting between these two teams, and the series is tied 18-18.
And I don't think you would expect any of these players on this field not to have known about that. They're well, versed in this rivalry game and what's at stake. And I'm pretty sure everybody around town has told them the series is tied. It's up to you guys to get the win here.
And if Hilldale wants to extend their streak to 6 straight games over Fort Gibson, they're going to rely on outside linebacker / wide receiver Dylan Walker.
Yeah, Dylan Walker's an extraordinary athlete, and they're going to depend a lot on him being able to stretch the field on the outside, and then from his linebacker position, he's going to have to help this defense stop the run.
Yeah, and then on the flip side, Fort Gibson, they have a workhorse in the backfield. Davian Woodworth has almost rushed for 1,300 yards. He is 2 yards short of 1,300 yards already this season. There's still 3 games left.
Yeah, that's a kid that's definitely put the team on his back and, had the workload pressed upon him, and he's done a good job thus far carrying the rock for this team. It's going to be very important that he gets off to a good start, especially with the weather conditions looking the way that they are.
It's only a 20-minute drive between these two schools, only 14 miles, so they are very familiar with each other. And on top of the rivalry, Dion, there's also some extra incentive into this game today because you're vying for your season. Only the top 4 teams in the 4A District 4 will make it into the state playoffs. And right now, Fort Gibson is sitting tied for 4th, while Hilldale sits a game behind at tied at 6th. So there's a lot at stake in this matchup.
Yeah, those are the type of, interests that add to the rivalry game when you play in the same district. And not only do you have an opportunity to just beat the team that's across from you, but also take their chances of having success through the season out of their hands.
Fort Gibson also, they've had slow starts coming out the past 2 games, and really their 2 conference losses. They've started slow against Berry Hill, and then last week against Salisal they started slow before they ended up coming back and only losing by 3 points. But how crucial is it for the Hilldale, or probably not the Hilldale Hornets, the Fort Gibson Tigers to start fast today?
Well, it's going to be very important for the fact that the weather conditions are going to play a factor. In games like this, you're going to have to run the football, and when that takes place, you don't score as quickly, and you're not as explosive. You're just going to have to stay in front of the chains. So because of that, it's very important that you don't get behind because you cannot catch up in the fast fashion that you're used to.
Well, Dion, grab your keys and warm up the engine because this is going to be a cold one, so we got to warm up. But as we said, it's time for Dion's Keys, brought to you by Bravado Wireless. All right, we'll start with the visiting Hilldale Hornets, Dion. What does Hilldale need to do to win this game?
Yeah, I was able to talk to their head ball coach, and he mentioned this game is going to be won between the trenches, okay? And that's very important. We just mentioned running the football. All that gets done from the big guys up front. The defensive line and the offensive line are going to have to do their jobs. Number 2, no mistakes. It's going to be a very, very miserable condition in this game, but still doesn't give you any excuses. Don't make any mistakes and no turnovers. That also goes in with the weather, so I can tell that this Hilldale team is concerned. It's very important that they have no turnovers in this game.
On the other side, Fort Gibson looking to break that streak held by the Hornets.
Yeah, their keys for the game is protect the quarterback. Coach Wiley said that this is an aggressive Hilldale team defensively, and they're going to have to do a great job of protecting their QB back there, number to start fast. We mentioned that earlier. This team is going to have to run the football. They're going to have to start fast. It's not going to be enough time and not a good condition for them to, get behind a bunch of points and be able to try to catch up. And number 3, ball control. They're going to have to run the ball, keep time of possession on them, and make sure that they are playing at peak performance.
Yeah, and the weather conditions are not really conducive to starting off the game slow like you were talking about and really airing it out and scoring a lot of points. You're going to have to grind it out if you want to score points in this game.
Yeah, you definitely are, because of the fact of the matter is running the football is the cornerstone of football right now. It's running the ball and playing good defense. So the fact of the matter is if you want to win this game, have fun, but do it running the football.
Right, exactly. And as we welcome you up to the booth, Seth Campbell joined alongside Dion Amade. And Dion is a former Oklahoma State safety, so you know a thing or two about rivalry games, playing the Oklahoma Sooners. Added emotions, how do you get those under control?
Man, you're going to have to take the adrenaline, bottle it up, and use it to your advantage on the field. It's very important that you do so. I know in tough rivalry games that I've played before that sometimes you get a little too amped up, you do extra stuff, and that's where mistakes and penalties come into play. You have to be able to control your emotions throughout the contest.
Yes, you do, and this is going to be an emotion-filled game between these two teams. The AstroTurf is set, the lights are on, and we're just about set for football here. We got, about 18 minutes left before these two teams kick off. We're going to send it to break in the Bravado Wireless Game of the Week between Fort Gibson and Hilldale. We want to thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you back here in a few minutes for kickoff.
Preview. Big wireless companies keep getting bigger and bigger, but their coverage where you live is still small. At Bravado Wireless, we provide the best unlimited talk, text, and data for only $40 a month, right here in Eastern Oklahoma. You deserve to connect fast to your family, friends, and colleagues, wherever they are, with no interruptions and no excuses. Don't buy into big. Go bold. Go Bravado. Visit bravadowireless.com or visit one of our stores, where we make it easy to join our family. Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection.
You are called to be bold, to connect in your home, to your community, and to the world. From your land, we are Bravado Wireless. We are your high-speed internet provider based right here in Eastern Oklahoma. With the latest technology, we offer coverage in more underserved areas than ever, with 4G LTE speeds and no installation needed. We're faster and more reliable than the competition, and at $59.99 a month, we're more affordable too. Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection. You have a voice, a right to stand up against overpaying for data you don't use from companies that don't live where you live. We are Bravado Wireless, and we are here to answer your call for a better plan right here in southeastern Oklahoma. Now get 2 lines with unlimited talk and text and 14 gigabytes of shared data for only $64.99 a month, because costs should never stop you from connecting with those who mean most to you. We are Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection. You are called to be bold. You have a right to the best wireless service, high-speed internet, and customer service at a price you can feel good about. At Bravado Wireless, we know this, and that's why we put you and your community first. We are owned and operated right here in Eastern Oklahoma. We live where you live. We proudly connect you to your family, friends, and business partners wherever they are. Dallas, Seattle, Taipei, Toronto, and anywhere else in the world. We are Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection.
I'll be trying my best to come.
Let's now announce the starting lineup for Fort Gibson. On offense, the quarterback will be Cole Mahaney. A running back, Jesse Rudd. A tailback, Fabian Woodward. Wide receiver, Dylan Mills and Cameron Dornan. Tight end will be Carson Ladd. In the offensive line, Zane Potter, Jacob Hess, Ben Johnson, Cooper Austin, and Brody Rainbow. On defense for the Tigers, in the defensive line, Braden Morgan, Anthony Maldonado, and Zane Potter. Linebackers are Carson Austin, Jesse Rudd, Carson Ladd, Devin Woodward. And in the defensive backfield, Connor Brown, Odell Ford, Dylan Mills, and Maurice Ford. The starters for the Tigers.
That's me, Dildo.
Man, freaking-tastic. Not yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand and honor America with the singing of our national anthem? Tonight, the national anthem will be sung by Miss Kiera Miller, a senior at Fort Gibson High School.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome back into Bravado Wireless Game of the Week. We are in Fort Gibson between the Fort Gibson Tigers and the Hilldale Hornets. Seth Campbell joined alongside Dion Amade, former Oklahoma State safety. And Dion, we have got a great matchup. As we talked about, the Battle of the Rock, and these two teams, you know, there's a lot of energy rolling around, but it is a cold day, so you got to make sure that you stay warm. You don't want any, you know, pull any muscles or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very important that you do stay hydrated. I know we talked about that early in the season where, you know, it was hot and teams were trying to get ready for the games, and you're trying to get your conditioning level under play. But this is a situation where you still can't underestimate the situation, because although the weather is cold and you don't want to drink water because it's cold as well, still you have to stay hydrated, especially if you're playing both ways, where you're going to see a couple of these kids do here tonight.
And we got team captains for the Fort Gibson Hornets. They're going to bring out Carson Ladd, Tavian Woodworth, Braden Morgan, and Codale Ford. And as we mentioned, Woodworth, he is an athlete, almost 1,300 yards, 12,908 yards rushing already this season.
Yeah, the Tigers are going to need a big game from him for the fact that, hey, we're running the football tonight. We've mentioned it throughout the contest. We've mentioned it throughout the pregame show, where the football is going to need to go between the tackles. We cannot address it more. So to do that, the running backs and the offensive line are going to have to be the MVPs of both of these squads here tonight.
And you see the other captains for Hilldale is Peyton, Hunter Parso, and Jaden McWilliams. And, you know, these guys, meanwhile, Hilldale is trying to keep the rock. You know, they said that, you know, they're just trying to keep the rock. It's been in the same place. It's collecting some dust over there. They're trying to keep it there for 6 years, and, you know, they're like, hey, let's just not go through the effort of moving it, right?
Yeah, I talked to the head coach, and Coach Blevins, he told me we've had the rock in our possession for about 4 or 5 years now, and we do not intend on losing our grasp on it anytime soon. So, I mean, just from the conversation I had with both of them, it seems like it's going to be an intense, physical football game.
Yeah, as a person that is from Little Rock, I'm considering myself quite the expert on rocks, and we got a good battle for one today.
That was a 4.
All right, well, Dion is starting off harsh. We'll see if the weather will cooperate with us today or if it will be harsh as well. Some drizzle falling right now. I can't really see it on the screen, but it is raining. And on AstroTurf with the rain, that doesn't always mix well, Dion.
Yeah, but this is an AstroTurf.
Okay, yes, it is turf.
I know this is the time of the game where I'm going to point this out. You continue to call this AstroTurf, but I've played on AstroTurf, sir. If it was AstroTurf, they would have tennis shoes on, and the turf burns would be tremendous.
Yes, the turf that was used in the Astrodome, home of the Houston Astros, is no longer in use. Yes, I call it AstroTurf. This is normal turf. Okay.
It's called field turf.
We got that out of the way at the beginning of the broadcast.
I just wanted to clear things up.
Seth is always wrong. It is turf on the field.
And finish that sentence off, and Dion's always right.
We're not going to go that far. But anyway, we've got the two teams that are lined up, and they're about ready to take the field. Hilldale is going to be in the all-whites with the red tops. They're looking sharp today.
I like the all-white look.
Meanwhile, Fort Gibson's going to be in the red tops, red bottoms, as well, and the white helmets. So these two teams are switched, and, you know, this is another, you know, this is called the Battle of the Rock, or Battle for the Rock, pardon me, but this is also called the Red-White Rumble, and you kind of see why now. They're going to go red tops. That's Fort Gibson. They have red highlights on their gray bottoms. They're coming out to midfield, ready to celebrate.
I kind of would like to take a look at that rock before the game gets kicked off. I'd be interested to see what that trophy looks like before, you know, it's victoriously held up in the air.
Hilldale walks out with some swagger. Now they get into a light jog. We saw Hilldale earlier, and, you know, they looked like a good team. They're playing Tulsa Central, but really Tulsa Central just out-athleted them.
Yeah, Tulsa Central had an embarrassment and riches of athletes that evening, and Hilldale still did a good job of holding their own. But the one thing that was very impressive was the way that they ran the football. I mean, they do a situation where they have a number of quarterbacks that come in the game. I want to count 3 off the top of my head. They had one quarterback that came in and was a very physical runner. It's going to be interesting to see him take part in this game here today.
And Dylan Walker said that he was talking about, you know, it is different when you have 3 quarterbacks trying to throw to you. He's like, you know, you would like to say that it is easy and it doesn't really affect your game because the ball's coming out and you're just catching it. He said, but it does make a difference.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, you can ask the old former great Jerry Rice and his capabilities, and with all his talent, he still found it difficult catching the ball from 2 different quarterbacks. quarterbacks. I mean, remember the summer where he was, you know, taking on the task of catching passes from Steve Young, and just the fact that he was a left-hander and the ball spinning differently coming off his hand from the difference from Joe Montana. He worked on that, and it's very difficult throughout the game and the contest to be going and, you know, catching passes from three different quarterbacks.
Well, the ball is set up on the tee right in the middle of the field on the 40-yard line. We are set for kickoff here at Fort Gibson as the Tigers are going to kick it away to the Hilldale Hornets. Kicking off for the Tigers is Zahn Hazen. He kicks it away, and it's a good one. It's going to go all the way to the goal line. Taken there in the middle of the field. It's probing, looking right, and it's going to be brought down just short of the 20-yard line by a host of Fort Gibson Tigers. We'll see who the returner is.
And that's a good job by Fort Gibson, being aggressive, getting down the field. And
TJ Maxwell, the senior wide receiver, 6 foot, 170 pounds, took it at the goal line and gets it out to the 19-yard line. And that's where the Hilldale Hornets will take over. What do you want to see from Hilldale on their first drive, Dion?
Well, I want them to establish their offense, you know, move the chains, be aggressive, and try to get that running game started early.
They got lots of traffic in the backfield right now. One wide receiver split out to the far side, and they're kind of going with a full house set, Dion. They give to the running back. No, he keeps it. The quarterback's going to keep it with a nice gain on first down. It's going to pick up over 8 yards. The quarterback today for Hilldale is going to be Michael Easer.
Yeah, and right there you saw a diamond formation in the backfield for the Hilldale Hornets. They did execute a nice zone read, picks up a great start for the offense here on first down, and gets a nice little first down to start the game.
Ball will be spotted at the 31-yard line, almost in the middle of the field. They're still, now they got an offset I formation with running back in the pistol. They're going to give it to that running back. He's going to be brought down right along the line of scrimmage. On the carry that time was Darren Hayes. Hayes, just a junior, 5'10", 175 pounds.
Yeah, that's a great job by the linebacker, number 3, Carson Austin, to come in from his outside linebacker position and get the running back low before he could pick up a bunch of yards for this Hilldale offense.
Seen a unique formation both times the Hilldale snapped the ball, and I'll ask you about that after this play here, Dion. Is they're once again going to go with that offset I. Now they're going to go with the diamond package. I've called that a full house before. Is that full house or a diamond?
More of a diamond.
Okay, and the running back's having trouble handling the ball as he's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage. Dylan Walker that time on the carry. He had it behind his back. He'll be brought down right along, as we said, the original line of scrimmage. Brings up third down and long. But what do you like about their different offense so far, Dion?
Well, one of the things that I really like about it is the fact that they're showing something different in their rivalry game. The thing about rivalry games is you know your opponent, you know what they like to do, and you kind of familiar with everything that they show. So that makes it a tougher contest. When you come out here and you show something different, you really put the defense on their heels. But right now they're on their heels with a third and long situation.
They're going to give it to the running back who runs up the middle, but he's going to be brought down. Gain of about 4, but no first down for the Hornets. They decide to run it on 3rd down and 9. You like the play call?
Well, I do like the play call, but it's just unfortunate that for Hilldale number 32, Darian Hayes doesn't do a good job with his vision. He had a cutback lane over there towards the left. If he would have saw that, he might have had a lot more daylight and been able to pick up this first down.
Instead, Hilldale will be forced to punt. Back deep for Fort Gibson will be Dylan Mills. Mills, 6'1", 180-pound senior. He puts his toes on the 35, and the kick drives him back, and it'll drive out of bounds. Well, no, it's going to bound inbounds, but it stays over there by the numbers and will be down, we'll say, the 22-yard line. But Fort Gibson gets a huge stop on their first possession, or on the Hilldale first possession. Now they got an opportunity to drive down and score some points to take the lead.
Yeah, but that was a good job by that special teams unit, giving this defense some good field position to defend from.
Ball spotted the 23-yard line. That's where the Tigers will take over. They got spread formation, twin receivers to either side. Now they send a man in motion, and they will give it to that wide receiver who cuts up and will gain about 5 yards. Nice play call and run that time by Jesse Rudd. Rudd's a senior, and You know, you got to think, everybody on this roster for Fort Gibson, they have not won that rock yet, Dion.
Yeah, you can tell that they should be, you know, fighting extra hard to try to get a good job by number 81 for the Hilldale Hornets. Chance Johnson coming through and finishing off that run from the safety position.
It's going to be a sweep. The running back will be Jackson Walters. Walters with a nice run, and he's going to pick up the first down.
Yeah, you see that pitch to the outside. Nice little cutback. Good job by the quarterback picking up the block. Somebody able to come from behind. Looks like that's Michael Easer to bring him down for the tackle.
Quarterback for the Tigers to start this game off is Cole Mahaney. Mahaney, just a freshman. You don't have to do too much as a freshman, though, if you got that guy in the backfield. That time the carry is to Tavian Woodworth. Woodworth, 5'10", 185-pound senior. As we said, he's racked up the yards early this year. Only picks up about 2 there, brings up 2nd and 8.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who throws the first pass in this game. One of the things that I've kind of been waiting for to see who's, and especially in this weather.
You can't see it on your screen, but it is still raining. It's not a hard rain, but it is constant. Mahaney is in the gun. He runs the option, and the ball's on the ground. Ball's on the ground, but it goes out of bounds. It looked like it may have hit a Hilldale foot and kicked out of bounds. That's a lucky break for Fort Gibson, as they are going to be able to retain possession.
A little chippiness, as you can expect in a rivalry game. Luckily for both of those players, the ref had his back turned to that incident.
You're trying to get into your cheap shots while nobody's looking, right, Dion?
Hey, that's how they teach it. Just kidding.
I don't know that he is, ladies and gentlemen. 3rd down and 14. Ball on the 30. They need to get to the 44. This is pretty obvious passing down here. We'll see if they do go with the pass. Mahaney's in the gun. He is going to throw. Blitz off the side. He's got a man in the middle, but it is in and out of his hands. Pass intended for Jesse Rudd. Mahaney was hit as he threw, and it went a little high of the hands of Rudd.
Yeah, and I think we have a flag on the play. It might have been a false start on the offense. I did see a wide receiver on the outside, you know, go a little early.
Dion is exactly right, but that penalty is declined and brings up 4th down. 2 early possessions, one for either team, and really nothing going for the offenses of either team.
Yeah, that was a good job by Chance Johnson from the safety position, number 81 right there. The pass was a little high and behind, but he still does a good job of breaking on the ball. Great timing and putting a hit on the receiver to make him jar it loose.
Brayson Lawson is back deep for the Hornets, but he's not going to get it, as this ball is going to be down at the 29-yard line of Hilldale. That's where the Hornets will take over for their 2nd possession. You want to see them do anything different? They brought out a different formation. You know, as we said, that diamond formation in the first drive. Do you want to see them maybe kind of spread the field out now, Dion?
Yeah, I mean, it was very interesting. I mean, you saw the trips, I mean, the 3 backs in the backfield with the quarterback and then 2 wide receivers out wide. That does, you know, allow the defense to kind of load the box. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do here, if that's going to be the formation that they stick with, or they're going to spread it out a little bit.
1st and 10, ball with the point of it hitting the 29-yard line on the right hash mark. They got a Hilldale player coming in late. He's going to be in the backfield as the quarterback, Easter, directs him. Easter's going to keep it, and he's got room on the right side. To the 30, to the 40, to midfield, as Easter's going to be brought down there. But Easter with a big gain for the Hornets, and he puts them into Fort Gibson territory.
And that's a great job by Easter on that zone read. Able to make a play and get to the outside and pick up some great yards.
And he just pulled that ball, took it off by himself, and they're going to spot this one right on the 50-yard line. Looked like he might have gotten past it. But ball will be spotted in the middle of the field on the right hash mark, just above the tee. On the Fort Gibson in the middle of the field. 2 wide receivers near side, 1 split out to the far. In the pistol formation, they're going to give it to the running back, Darren Hayes. Hayes turning his feet and finishing with a strong run. Hayes with the first down, and he's going to get all the way down to about the 33-yard line, 38-yard line. Nice hard running that time by Hayes.
And that's a nice spring in his step after he finished off that run. You see a nice physical run by Hayes. That's something that we came accustomed to last time we saw this Hilldale Hornets team. Hayes had a nice game in the backfield. Hopefully he can continue that here.
That last look was a great look there from our photographers and our videographers. You can see the rain really coming down, and this is what these teams are dealing with. Easter's going to keep it himself, kind of on a draw, looked like that time. Nothing really doing for him there. He will pick up 3 yards, but he runs right into the teeth of the Fort Gibson defense and is stopped there.
Yeah, that was a very unusual looking draw play from the quarterback. Normally they show pass and then they execute the run. This time he keeps the ball tucked and just hesitates and kind of goes with it. More of a Kansas State, you know, power running back formation, or excuse me, power running back play.
Clock running.
Just a slight hesitation for the blocks to be able to set up.
Clock running, 6:14 left to go in the first quarter. Second possession for Hilldale. Both teams punted on their first possession. Hilldale sustaining a drive here as Easter keeps the ball on his own read again, makes a man miss in the middle of the field, and Easter's to the 25 to the 20. It'll be brought down right around the 19-yard line. Great run that time by Easter. He sold the zone read and is able to take it himself, and we got late flags on the field.
Yeah, and flag rightfully so. The defensive player trying to push Easter to the ground after the play is over to assist himself up. But nice, tough run by Easter, physical in the open field.
He finished that run hard, lowered his shoulder, and gained a few extra yards. That's what you like to see out of a tough running quarterback right there.
Yeah, he's not shying away from contact at all.
That's not your normal drop back spread quarterback. That's a man that knows how to run the option, and he finishes that run as well.
And I think the referees right now are doing a good job, right? This penalty is definitely a warning shot to both teams trying to get this game under control. This is the second incident that we've seen, but this is the first flag, and I think the first one that the refs saw. So they're going to throw a flag, a personal foul on number 4 for Fort Gibson, and make sure that this game doesn't get too chippy.
Jesse Rudd. Rudd was a key cog in Fort Gibson's offense. As the give is up the middle, and the running back Hayes running hard all the way down to the 2-yard line, but the ball is on the ground. The ball is on the ground, Dion, and Fort Gibson comes up with it. A dagger in the hearts of Hilldale.
Check out the replay right here. You can see Hayes makes a nice move in there in the backfield. And I don't know about that. I mean, if we have instant replay, I think he might have been able to touch this butt, might have touched the ground before the ball came out. But this is high school football, and we do not. So therefore, Fort Gibson's Tigers have the ball in the, what's that, 3-yard line?
But we have the luxury of a replay, and we'll see.
Oh, no, that thing was moving before he landed on the ground. That's a great job by the defense, and it looks like it's number 11 that came in and made that hit.
Braden Morgan for Fort Gibson. The give is up the middle, and so they were backed up, but Fort Gibson now with some breathing room is there all the way out to the 15-yard line. They gave it that time to the running back. It looked like trying to get a number on that. It was Jackson Walter. Walter, I mean, just tough running up the middle there.
And that's a good job by him creating space for his offense.
Back up to the line of scrimmage. Fort Gibson under center this time. They give it to Walter again. Walter with the sidestep. Walter to the 20, to the 25, and out to the 26-yard line. He's a tough runner in the middle. He's got some shiftiness about him.
And I think he might have been able to burst just a little bit if he didn't run into his offensive lineman. Check out this replay right here. Just a great move between the tackles. And see, he does get tackled before he makes contact with his own lineman, but still a nice run.
Backed up on the 3-yard line, 2 plays, you're on the 28, 27. That's not bad if you're the Fort Gibson Tigers. They're going with a bunch formation now, as once again the give is going to be to Woodworth this time. Woodworth trying to bounce it outside, and he's going to be brought down. No gain, even a loss on that play. We'll call it a loss of 1 for the Tigers, but Fort Gibson is coming out with a different formation now. Oh, pardon me, that was Jesse Rudd. My bad.
Yeah, and that different formation is, it looks like the wishbone offense right there. A good job by this Hilldale team containing and stretching the play to the outside and making that stop.
Give up the middle, nothing going that time.
And, you know, this Hilldale defense is just doing a good job of getting on their blocks and being physical at the point of attack, because these running backs, they're doing a good job of running physical, but they're just taking on the blockers, getting off and making a play.
Tavian Woodworth with the carry. Gains about 3, brings up 3rd down and 9. On this 3rd and long, this formation that Fort Gibson has been running doesn't really help. We got a shift on the offensive line. We're gonna have to see who the call is on, because it looked like Fort Gibson got down and then shifted. But then Hilldale came across the line of scrimmage. It's kind of a trickeration play there. And they're going to call it against Hilldale. That's a 5 free yards for Fort Gibson. And now 3rd down and long becomes 3rd down and much more manageable.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that was the keys of the ball game. You cannot make mistakes. Penalties like that on 3rd down that put the offense in a much favorable situation is definitely a mistake in this game.
Woodworth is in the backfield. 2 fullbacks either side. And we got another flag, and I think this time it might be on Fort Gibson.
Yeah, definitely a false start over there. It looked like from the tight end position.
Trying to get a head start will back Fort Gibson up 5, and that positive momentum that you had, and you were close to not having to be out of your comfort zone on 3rd down. Instead, you're going to back it up, and, well, you're in the same spot that you were.
The football gods give it, and they take it away.
3rd down and 9. Ball on the 28-yard line. They need to get to the 37. They're going with this bunch formation again. Cole Mahaney gives to Woodworth, and Woodworth not finding any running room that time.
And I'd love to see a replay of this, because this is just great defense. Taking on the lead blocker, getting off, and then allowing your defense to help you make the play. Take on the lead blocker right here. You see how they're containing by the defensive end? Look at Hayes take on that block on the outside, not allowing the running back to bounce it outside, making it in a phone booth defense, and then his help comes from the outside and comes and brings down the ball carrier.
The snap is low on the punt, but it does get away. The ball bounces at the 40 and takes a Hilldale bounce. And we've got a flag here as there's some late contact at the 45 of Fort Gibson. We'll have to see who this is against. 15 yards either way is going to be huge, Dion.
And I'm telling you right now, these kids have to get under control. Although it's a rivalry game, emotions are high. You cannot cost your team 15 yards.
And you know that these referees were coached, that this is a rivalry game. They're looking for that stuff. I mean, anything that's even remotely close is going to be called today.
Yeah, especially early in the game.
As they sort it out on the field, we'll let you know that this game is brought to you by Bravado Wireless. Bravado Wireless is proud to connect you to tonight's game. Bravado is in the business of keeping you connected to the things that matter most. Call on one of our stores and learn how you can discover the power of connection. Bravado Wireless is your local cell phone carrier, providing unlimited talk, text, and data to communities right here in Eastern Oklahoma as part of America's best network. Bravado Wireless, connecting you to what's important. They're going to call this one on Hilldale. That'll back the ball up all the way to the 19-yard line. That referee kept walking and walking and walking.
That's very rough, man, for this Hilldale offense, because they had the ball in such great field position. Such great field position.
Fort Gibson hasn't been this far back since the very beginning of their drive, the very beginning of the game, pardon me, where they took over right at their 19-yard line. Whistles blow, we're set. Hilldale's got their 3rd possession of the game. It's a read option, and this time nothing doing. Fort Gibson with a sack. Michael Easer nowhere to go.
And you're going to take a look at this screen right now, and you're going to see Fort Gibson switches to a man-to-man defense, allowing them more defenders inside the box to stop this running attack of Hilldale. It's kind of a soft man where you see a lot of depth between the corners and the safeties, but still, when you're man-to-man and there's no safety back there to help you deep, it allows you to bring that player up into the box and stop the run. And that's exactly what they needed right now. Let's see if they continue with that defense.
The light rain that was plaguing our game earlier seems to have subsided. There may be a slight drizzle as they're going to run a zone sweep to the outside. And once again, Hilldale will be brought down in the backfield.
And once again, there's the safety. He's coming down. He's man-to-man with the tight end. As soon as the tight end comes in and blocks, look at this. Tight end blocks. He comes to the outside. He has contained. Does a good job of attacking that outside leg and bringing the ball carrier down.
Eric Virgil was the ball carrier that time. He's brought down behind the line of scrimmage. This is going to bring up third down and very long. Hilldale has not attempted a pass yet this game, but they're probably going to do so here, Dion. Easter rolls right, looking, throws on the run, and it's intercepted at the 30-yard line. Fort Gibson comes up with another turnover. This time, they are in Hilldale territory with 20 yards between them and the promised land.
And that's just a nice job being at the right place at the right time. Number 5, Connor Brown, comes up with the big interception in the red zone for the Fort Gibson Tigers. Take a look at it.
That is Connor Brown's team-leading 4th interception of the season for him. He's in the right place at the right time, and he gives Fort Gibson plenty of momentum to see if they can take the lead early in this game. Minute 17 left to go, first quarter. The give is to Woodworth. Woodworth with the lane. Woodworth to the 5. Touchdown, Tigers!
And he took off like a bottle rocket coming out the middle of the offense. It's Woodworth for the TD.
Talk about capitalizing. First play off of the turnover. Fort Gibson puts it in the end zone. And hey, you can say Woodworth is well over 1,300 yards now.
And that's what you kind of need in these games. It's going to be back and forth, up and down, especially with the close competition that it is. But a slight edge, a little mistake, and you give a team some daylight to make it happen.
Talking about little mistakes, the extra point doesn't get more than 5 feet off of the ground and is blocked. But check out Woodworth. He's just got explosive speed once he hits that hole.
And great balance, too. Look at them attack his legs, and he stays upright and gets into the end zone right there.
Fort Gibson gets on the board first, 6-0 after the extra point is blocked. Woodworth with a 19-yard run. And if you're Hilldale, you've had 2 turnovers already and you're not even out of the first quarter.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because you knew this was going to be a game that you needed some discipline. You needed some extra possessions on your side of things, but you keep giving stuff away.
So excited here, Dion, that the press box is shaking. Either that or we're having an earthquake.
Well, those do tend to happen in this state.
Every now and then. Would you call Oklahoma the California of the Midwest?
No, I wouldn't.
No.
I would not.
This time it's going to be a pooch kick, and this is a dangerous play. The ball's on the ground, and it looks like Fort Gibson's going to come up with it. Devin Woodworth, the brother of Tavian Woodworth. The Woodworths are all over the place, Dion.
And look at this high sky kick. Number 15 tries to come in and make a play on it, but just not enough speed to get there. And good job by Woodworth and the Fort Gibson Tigers to come in and capitalize and fall on the football.
The Woodworths are worth their weight in gold right now for the Tigers as they made 2 big plays.
7.
I will take it. 6-0 the score for Fort Gibson. They got the ball on the 38-yard line. They're stealing possessions wherever they can find them. In the gun is Cole Mahaney, but we're going to have a stoppage in play.
Looks like there might have been a timeout called, or no, there is a flag.
Flag on the play and false start, and you just had this big play, and then you get a false start penalty, and you kind of kill the momentum that you gained. That's 3 breaks that have gone Fort Gibson's way. This game was looking like it was about to be 6-0 in favor of Hilldale. They were on the 2-yard line of Fort Gibson. Instead, it's 6-0 in favor of the Hornets, and we've got another false start.
there's got to be a situation on this offensively where maybe Hilldale is simulating the snap count or something. It's just been, I want to say, 4 false start penalties on Fort Gibson's offense so far, 4 or 3.
We haven't even made it out of the first quarter yet. There's still a minute 10. If you're head coach of the Tigers, Greg Whiteley, you can't be pleased with that. Our head referee tonight is talking with some of his officials to make sure they sort this out and get this call right. It's 1st and 15 right now. Ball spotted on the 43-yard line. This is going to be against Hilldale. So 1st down and 10 now as Fort Gibson gets those 5 yards back. Ball moves up to the 38-yard line. Tavian Woodworth put a 19-yard touchdown run on the board for the Tigers. That's what the score stands, 6-0. A minute 10 left to go in the first quarter. Mahaney in the gun. He's got Woodworth behind him. Sends a man in motion. He's going to pass. Looks right side. Throws it up for his receiver and throws it too far. Intended target that time was Carson Ladd, but Mahaney overshot everybody.
Yeah, that's just a good job by Ladd being able to stay tough in the pocket because he got folded as soon as he let that ball go.
Mahaney, just a freshman. 5'9", 160 pounds. And you know, if you got a guy that's starting for your high school team as a freshman, you've got 3 more years. You really see him grow and progress in the offense. It'd be really great for Fort Gibson. They're going to give it to Woodworth this time. Woodworth through the hole on the right side. Makes a man miss at the 35. Gets out to the 33-yard line. Woodworth runs hard, though. Brings up 3rd down and call it 6.
Take a look at the replay. Just power down the middle.
You can't lower your head if you're going to tackle Woodworth.
Yeah, you got to keep those eyes up.
You can tell that Hilldale's plan, though, is to attack the legs of Woodworth. You've seen multiple guys go after his legs already. 2 wide receivers split out to either side of the field. The give is to Woodworth off left tackle. Woodworth running hard will pick up the 1st down. He's out to the 27-yard line. Picks up the line to gain +1, moves the chains, and you can tell what the Fort Gibson offensive game plan is give it to that man.
Yeah, and rightfully so. Right off tackle there.
Great job that time by the offensive line of getting a push as well. Clock running. And Fort Gibson's going to be content to let this one go out. You couldn't have planned a much better first half for Fort Gibson. Meanwhile, if you're the Hornets, you couldn't have really played it much worse, but you're still only down 6-0.
Yeah, the Hornets did a good job of moving the football. They just have to take care of the mistakes. As far as Fort Gibson, they've done a good job of capitalizing off of those mistakes, but still, they got to be more disciplined. Too many penalties in the first quarter.
It's been the Woodworth Show here early as the Fort Gibson Tigers lead 6-0 here on the Bravado Wireless Game of the Week.
Big wireless companies keep getting bigger and bigger, but their coverage where you live is still small. At Bravado Wireless, we provide the best unlimited talk, text, and data for only $40 a month, right here in Eastern Oklahoma. You deserve to connect fast to your family, friends, and colleagues, wherever they are, with no interruptions and no excuses. Don't buy into big. Go bold. Go Bravado. Visit bravadowireless.com or visit one of our stores, where we make it easy to join our family. Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection.
The Bravado Wireless Game of the Week is in Fort Gibson for the Battle of the Rock, as the Tigers are looking to break a streak of 5 consecutive victories for the Hilldale Hornets, and they're off to a good start after 1 quarter, leading 6-0. The Tigers are able to capitalize off of 2 turnovers and a converted onside kick. Everything going the Tigers' way so far. See if they can capitalize off of this onside kick. Give a pitch outside to Woodworth. Woodworth running offside tackle. Gets to the 25, out to the 22-yard line before he's brought down there. The pickup, we'll call it 5, brings up second down and 5. Clock running, 11:45 left to go. 6-0 in favor of the Tigers.
Yeah, and it seemed like the process of that play took a little longer than, you know, how you originally draw it up. So it allowed the defense to, you know, kind of adjust and come off their blocks. But Woodward's still doing a good job of running physical on the outside and picking up some good positive yards for this Fort Gibson offense.
Everybody to the far side of the field. The tight end set up there. Man in the slot, 2 men in the slot, and a man out wide. They're going to give it this time. Looks like the running back is once again Woodworth. Woodworth probes left side, so runs away. Just on a counter. He's going to bring up third down. He did pick up 3, but it is third down.
And you can take a look at, if we get a wider view at this, you see the wide splits of the wide receivers. You can tell they really run the ball between the tackles. The reason for the wide splits is they're trying to draw out the linebackers and all the secondary outside the hash marks so they have less people inside the box so they can run between the tackles.
If you're Hilldale, how do you counter?
You have to be physical and win your one-on-one matchups.
Now they do the complete opposite, bringing everybody inside, trying to pick up 2 yards on third down. But we do have a flag on the far side of the field. Give was to Woodworth. It looked like he was going to be close to that first down marker. They're going to spot him at the 15, which would be a first down. But there is a flag on the field, so we're going to have to see who this is on, sort out this call. Looks like the head referee is pointing in the direction of Hilldale. A sideline warning goes against Hilldale. The result of the play is a first down. Ball spotted on the 15-yard line. Second time the Fort Gibson Tigers have been in the red zone today. They capitalized on a 19-yard Tavian Woodworth run the first time. Give is to Woodworth, running left tackle. Woodworth looks like he breaks the tackle at the 10 to the 5, right at the goal line, is brought down. They'll spot him short, but Woodworth, a tough runner, gets all the way out to the 2-yard line.
And he refuses to go down off of a single-man contact. Look at this hard, tough run between the tackles, just breaking off of everybody that's trying to bring him down. Good job, but that's a lot of yak yards from Woodworth right there, yards after contact.
You know, he's not talking about the animal found over in Asia. He's talking about yards after contact. Woodworth's got a lot of them today.
What animal?
Yak. As Woodworth goes airborne, but is going to be brought up short. Great time, great job that time by Hilldale.
That's just effort right there, trying to go old Walter Payton over the top of the Hilldale Hornets and do just enough to get him on the 1-yard line.
Looks like it was a good tackle that time by Chance Johnson, the senior safety. But the ball is, I mean, inches away from that goal line. Second down. They're going to go with the quarterback sneak, and Mahaney gets in. Touchdown, Tigers. They're going to take a 12-0 lead. And they've got the early momentum here in the Battle of the Rock.
And that's the oldest play in the book right there. The quarterback sneak right up the middle.
They're excited on the sideline. They're trying to break a streak of 5 consecutive losses to the Hornets. The extra point from Zahn Hazen is up, and this time, this one gets well off the ground and split the uprights. 13-0 the score in favor of Fort Gibson, and great running. This time just an easy QB sneak.
Yeah, he finds that window and he slides in there. He's safe at home. Home in the end zone, that is. Touchdown, Fort Gibson.
That sneak, though, was set up by, I mean, just fantastic running by Tavian Woodworth that entire drive.
Yeah, he really is the guy that puts everything on his back offensively, especially in this first and second quarter thus far.
Tavian Woodworth's brother, Devin Woodworth, came up with the onside kick. Tavian drove it all the way down to the goal line, and Cole Mahaney punched it in. You got a weapon if you're Fort Gibson. Their kicker, Zon Hazen, he can kick it deep. He kicked it all the way to the goal line, but he also kind of perfected that in-between pooch kick as well. Let's see what Hazen decides to do this time. He approaches the ball, and they're going to go for the pooch kick once again. This time, fair caught at the 35-yard line by Isaac Gonzalez. Gonzalez learned from his mistake last time. We got another flag on the field.
Yeah, it looks like this one's going to be a sideline warning.
Yep, sideline warning against Fort Gibson. So both teams have a sideline warning. Ball spotted on the 35-yard line, right hash mark. That's where Hilldale will take over. It's been a while since the Hilldale offense has been on the field.
It really has been, and those guys really are close to the sideline, so I don't blame the refs for throwing that flag. Normally there's another line back there where they keep those guys beyond the white, and they seem to be really close to the field here.
The give is up the middle and just nothing doing. Great tackle that time by Fort Gibson. And the running back just had nowhere to go.
Yeah, really clogged up the middle there. Seems like they're going to have to get to the perimeters if they're going to want to try to gain some positive yardage.
You see on this middle of your screen there, Anthony Maldonado come up with the tackle. He's playing left end for the Tigers. Play clock is at 10 seconds, and Hilldale is yet to break the huddle. Play clock down to 5. They're going to have to hurry if they want to get this one off, and quarterback Easton's not in any hurry. Easton was getting up to the line at his own leisurely pace, and that's going to cause Hilldale to call a timeout.
Yeah, and I don't see a play clock on this side of where he's facing, so that might have been a little bit of a disadvantage for him. The coaches staff see that and call a quick timeout. So.
Well, we're going to go to a timeout as well. 13-0 in favor of Fort Gibson, thanks to some nifty running from Tavian Woodworth.
Ignoring calls from your in-laws?
Nope.
That's a bold move. Ignoring other carriers and switching to Bravado?
Again?
Now that's a bolder move.
Hey, Karen. Sorry, I can't talk right now. I'm going through a...
Get $500 off any new phone when you sign up for the premium unlimited plan from Bravado.
You're right behind me?
Visit your nearest store today. Bravado Wireless. Experience the power of connection.
Welcome back. Easter's going to take the snap, rolls left. He's got a man open and in and out of his hands. Easter threw behind his intended target, number 32, Darren Hayes. Hayes was wide open, all by himself.
He only had one guy to beat to take it to the end zone. Check out this quarterback bootleg right here. You can see it's kind of cut up short because of the fact that there is a defender in the quarterback's face. He tries to throw the ball as quickly as possible, and because of that, it's a little inaccurate. Wide receiver drops it, but they make a rule in the wide receiver room. If it hits your hands, it should be a catch, and that's definitely should have been a catch.
Brings up 3rd down and long. Hilldale went with the run, or pardon, with the pass last time. They throws it up this time, Easter, and it's intercepted. Intercepted at the 40-yard line of Fort Gibson.
No, he calls it an incompletion.
What? Looked like that was for sure intercepted by Dylan Mills, but we're going to take another look at the replay. The call of the field is incomplete, and there are no replays.
Oh, yeah, that was a drop. He did drop it. He does a good job of trying to rolling on top of it and try to call it a completion. But, yes, that was clearly a drop pass.
No harm, no foul if you're Fort Gibson, though. It does bring up 4th down and long, which is going to force Hilldale to punt.
And that's a good job by the wide receiver not quitting on the play there.
Snap is to the punter, and it's away, and it's a pretty good kick. This is going to sail over the head of Brown, who was back deep to receive this one. It's going to take a Fort Gibson roll and he's going to keep going to the 20 to the 15-yard line.
That was a great punt right there. Way to flip the field.
Hilldale does flip the field, but once again, the Hilldale Hornets defense is going to take a trek out to the field. And they have been on the field turf a lot today, Dion.
Yeah, they certainly have. This Hilldale offense not doing a good job of staying in front of the chains and picking up first down. This defense is going to be, you know, pretty beat at halftime.
3 wide receivers to the far side of the screen. Mahaney looks right, throws left. He's trying to get Woodworth out of the backfield, but they couldn't fool Hilldale that time, as there were 2 defenders on Woodworth, and Mahaney throws this one out of bounds.
Definitely some quarterback pressure. Little rush the process right there. Quarterback number 2, Cole Mahaney, ends up on the field turf.
The field turf. The field turf.
Why'd you say that twice?
Not the AstroTurf, the field turf. In case you're wondering.
I wasn't, but okay.
Okay. I got in trouble for calling it AstroTurf earlier. Woodworth with the give. He's hitting the backfield, shakes one tackle, but he's going to be brought down that time. Great pursuit by the Hilldale defense, specifically Kevin Davis.
Yeah, and I love the way number 81, Chance Johnson's playing from his safety position. He's playing like a madman out there. Great field and great job pursuing the football.
Third down and 11. Trips wide receivers to the far side of the field. Mahaney rolls right, hit as he throws, and that one's going to be incomplete. Pressured that time. It looks like it was Darren Hayes, but no, it's going to be Dylan Walker.
Yeah, Walker coming off, also applying the pressure, the early pressure before in this offensive series. Doing a good job getting back there to the quarterback.
Walker hits Mahaney as he was trying to throw the ball, and
looks like they have nobody back there to return the punt.
They're coming after the punt, but it does get away. It hits at the 40-yard line. Takes a Hilldale bounce to the 43 before it starts trickling towards the Hilldale sideline. It'll be down there. A great field position for the Hornets, and they played the field position game last time by punting, and it works out for them.
Yeah, and let's see if they can do something offensively with this great field position, though. This Fort Gibson defense has been impressive throughout this game, especially in the second quarter and later parts of the first. So it's going to be interesting to see the offensive strategy that Hilldale comes out with to try to move this ball up the field with the great field position that they do have.
We showed you a replay. You saw Walker coming off the edge. He was very close to blocking that punt by the punter, Zahn Hazen. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, Dion. Easter rolls left now for Hilldale, and he's going to tuck it himself. Easter to the 40, to the 35, still on his feet before he's knocked out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Nice run by Easter, looking like he was going to pass, ran out of options and took it himself.
Yeah, and good job for Easter to have that quarterback time in your head to be able to say, nobody's open down the field, got to tuck this one and run with it. Because I tell you one thing, number 9, Devin Woodworth was coming from behind and applying the pressure.
We got 2 young quarterbacks. We got a freshman for Fort Gibson, and Easter on the other hand is just a sophomore, 5'10", 172 pounds. We got some youth at the QB position for both of these teams. The future is bright for the Hornets and Tigers. They're going to spot him at the 35. I thought he got out to the 30. The give is up the middle, and a great tackle that time by Jesse Rudd.
Yeah, good job. He gets him by his ankles, and number 25 for the Hilldale,
Eric Virgil.
Eric Virgil ain't able to get away from the tackle and get up and get this first down for the Hornets.
There was a lot of open field to that left side if he could have busted that open, but instead, Rudd comes out with the tackle and brings up third down. Third down and 1, you got to believe this is 2-down territory if you're Hilldale, though, right?
I would believe so, especially this far in your own, in your opponent's territory.
They're going to go with the I formation. Let's see if they QB sneak it here. Easter gets it. Easter's going to QB sneak it. Right now he doesn't have it, and then the late Lange gets it. We got a flag coming in late.
The second effort was just enough to get them the first down.
He was clogged up at first, but he bounces it out to the outside, near side.
See what this flag is all about now. Looks like he's telling the refs that he cannot push the opponent from behind.
I think that's exactly what he called. It goes against Hilldale, and penalties will come back and get you, Dion. Third down and short becomes third down and 6. Aiding the runner is the call on the field. You can do that at the college level, but not here in Oklahoma at the high school level. Ball on the 39. They got to get to the 33. And they're going to get those 5 yards back. A false start by Anthony Maldonado will bring up 3rd and 1. I feel like we've been here before, Dion.
Feels like just a little bit ago. Deja vu, maybe.
Deja vu indeed. 5:50 left to go in the game. 13-0 in favor of Fort Gibson. But Hilldale with an opportunity here to tighten the lead of the Tigers. Quarterback sneak once again, and there's a jumble up at the line of scrimmage, and they're not gonna get it. Fort Gibson comes out with a huge stop. That time at quarterback was Jay Porter. Porter, the junior, comes in to see if he can't pick up the first down, and nothing doing for the 6'2", 186-pound junior.
Yeah, Porter just a little too high right there. Gets the snap and stands straight up. Because of that, low man wins, and that low man is that Fort Gibson defensive line.
4th and 1. We said that this was 4-down territory a few flags ago. Looks like it's going to remain so right now as the offense is staying on the field. The play clock is winding down, and Hilldale's going to take a timeout to talk about it. And we're going to take this time to let you know that this game is brought to you by Bravado Wireless. Bravado Wireless traveling all over Eastern Oklahoma to bring you the Friday Night Lights game of the week, and we are here in Fort Gibson for a good one, Dion. Also want to let you know that if you're looking for the new iPhone 11 Pro, well, make sure you visit your local Bravado store this fall to see how you can not only get $500 off of this new sweet iPhone, but also a free year of Apple TV Plus, which is perfect for streaming on Bravado's unlimited data plan. Restrictions do apply. Make sure to see your local Bravado store for details. They're going to go for an extra, not an extra point, a field goal. Ball we spot on the 41. This would be a 51-yard field goal, Dion.
And I would definitely have to watch out for a fake in this situation.
A 51-yard field goal in high school sports. The kick is up. The kick has the distance. The kick is...
It's good!
The kick is good! A boot!
And I'm shocked. I'm impressed. I mean, I'm... Wow, befuddled by the situation that just took place there. He lines up from 51 yards deep and knocks it in. It is impressive, and it is good.
Peyton Bennett, the 5'10", 170-pound senior. Sign him up to go play somewhere. That's impressive. 51 yards, and he puts Hilldale on the board.
Just having the guts to go up there at that age and try for that attempt, and not only that, in a rivalry game, for your head coach to have that trust in you to knock in a 51-yard field goal in this element, in these conditions.
This field and this weather is not conducive to kicking 51-yard field goals.
Not at all.
That takes a score to 13-3, but That's one of the more impressive plays we've seen this year. (13-3) the score in favor of Fort Gibson, but an impressive 51-yard field goal put through the uprights by Peyton Bennett does cut the lead. Benton puts toe to leather that time and kicks it into and out of the end zone. And we haven't seen Bennett kick off yet this game, and Fort Gibson's done all of the kickoff honors, and well, we see that he's got quite the leg.
He certainly does, and I mean, those situations are kind of, you know, eerie. You kind of have to talk with your kicker and trust in him that he's going to give you the right information. Can you kick it? Does your leg feel good this evening? I mean, a lot of things come into play with that scenario, and for them to say, hey, we need some points and we're going to trot our kicker out here for 51 yards is quite impressive.
Mahaney gives it to Woodworth in the split back formation. Mahaney and Woodworth is just making quick work of the Hilldale defense, bouncing off 2 or 3 tacklers that time, getting out to the 31-yard line and picking up a first down.
Yeah, and he just refused to go down right there. Nice, hard, tough running by Woodworth.
Tavian Woodworth is shown to be one of the more impressive backs we've seen this entire year so far, Dion.
Certainly has.
He lines up in a split back formation with Mahaney to his right. They're going to give it to the other running back this time. There's Jesse Rudd on the carry, and Rudd picks up 3 yards, ball's out to the 34. The officials are having a little bit of a time trying to spot the ball. Fort Gibson breaks the huddle. 2 wide receivers split out wide to either side beyond the numbers. Ball on the left hash. 2 running backs split to either side of Mahaney. Mahaney's going to give it to Woodworth, running off right tackle. Woodworth ahead of steam. He's going to be met at the 37-yard line, driven towards the Hilldale sideline to be brought down there. His forward progress does get him out to that 37-yard line, but it does bring up 3rd down.
It took about 7 guys to bring down Woodworth.
We talked about coming into this game that Tavian Woodworth, he would be a key to the Fort Gibson offense. And so far, hey, the keys are the ignition and the car is going, Dion.
Yeah, it certainly is. And that's why this Fort Gibson team's able to start a freshman quarterback. When you have a back like that to help him out.
Give to Woodworth, and this time Woodworth is met with adversity at the line of scrimmage. Woodworth will pick up 2, but he is going to be brought up short. Ball will be spotted just short of the 40-yard line. They need to get to the 41 for a first down. We'll call it 4th down and a long 1, a very short 2. If you're a head coach here at the Tigers, what are you doing, Dion?
You know what? I would try to give the ball to somebody other than Woodworth. You can kind of see he's had quite of a first half here. See him hands on the pads, head down. He looks a little fatigued, so I would go with a stronger back at this moment, and it might be a run to number 4, Jesse Rudd.
You've also been spreading your wide receivers out really wide and haven't really given it to him yet. You know, could this be an opportunity to maybe give it to one of those guys on a screen play? Well, we'll have to debate it just a little bit longer, as we're going to call a timeout on the field and a timeout up here in the booth. We go to break. And after a 51-yard field goal by Peyton Bennett, Fort Gibson cuts the lead to 13-3 in favor, or pardon me, Hilldale cuts the lead to 13-3 in favor of Fort Gibson.
OMG, this dip is so good.
Double dipping that spicy guac? That's a bold move. Dipping into the ultimate discount on your unlimited wireless plan? Now that's a bolder move.
What?
Sign up for the basic unlimited plan from Bravado. Visit your nearest store today. Bravado Wireless. Experience the power of connection.
Welcome back. Hilldale and Fort Gibson break from their timeouts. 4th down and 1. The offense looks to stay on the field. 2 minutes exactly left on the clock. It looks like Fort Gibson's going to go for it. They got Woodworth in the backfield, and we got a false start. A false start on Hilldale will give Fort Gibson the first down, and penalties coming at a crucial time for Hilldale really cost them.
And you could kind of see Fort Gibson does a nice little shift to the unbalanced alignment there. And because of that, the snap count changes just a little bit. And number 58 for Hilldale, Devin Brandit, falls, jumps off stars and make contact and everything.
Devin Brandt does jump off sides. Ball spotted on the 45. They're going to give it to Woodworth, running left tackle. Woodworth with that of steam. But 3 Hilldale Hornets bring him down. And right there along that tackle, and making that tackle, is number 33 for Hilldale, Dylan Walker. Walker has been all over the place for this Hilldale defense.
And he's had to be, especially the way that Woodworth has been carrying the ball.
2nd down and 8. Mahaney gets the call from his head coach, Greg Whiteley. Wide receivers are split out way wide beyond the numbers. And they're going to give it to Woodworth once again, running right tackle. Woodworth picks up about 1, but it looks like Hilldale's made an adjustment here late in the 2nd quarter to kind of bring pressure off the edge and really solidify the middle of their defense. Third down and 7, and we're going to have a timeout. This time, it looks like it's going to come from Hilldale.
Yeah, that's a smart move by Hilldale. You're seeing that it's a 3rd down, and it's a third down and long, where if they continue to run the ball at the pace that they are, they can be able to stop them and force them to punt the football and get another try offensively before they go in at halftime.
Minute 7 left to go in the 2nd quarter. 13-3. We've seen some explosive plays by Fort Gibson, but they've really done a good job of just taking advantage of what Hilldale is giving them.
Yeah, that's been taking advantage of some mistakes and some turnovers that, you know, Hilldale's been able to present Fort Gibson with. But in the 2nd half, it's going to be very important that Fort Gibson, if they want to continue with this lead, to spread the ball around a little bit. I mean, you're looking at Woodworth attack the offensive line and continue to run with violence and ferociousness, but he's going to start to slow down. And if they want to, you know, stay competitive here, they're going to find other ways and other players to get the ball to.
3rd down and 7. Mahaney in the gun. He's got Woodworth to his left. They're going to run a sweep out there. The pitch is to Woodworth. Woodworth gets past the 50 to the 49, but nothing more doing for the Fort Gibson tailback. Will be brought up short. This time Hilldale is out of timeout, so they will not be able to stop the clock. So it's going to be able to run down to about 15 seconds left before Fort Gibson is going to be forced to punt this one away. I guess assuming they want to punt, but that would make the most sense here.
I would say so.
We'll see if Fort Gibson, they don't look like they're going to get into punt formation. They're going to run this clock all the way down and call a timeout.
And you have to punt this ball away, especially with the the leg of the Hilldale kicker, number 10, Peyton Bennett.
Yeah, all they need is 10 to 20 yards, and they're in field goal range.
Yes, they are.
Fort Gibson will call a timeout now. Hey, you got them. I guess you might as well use them in the first half before you lose them, Dion.
Yeah, definitely don't want to go home with the timeouts that you could have used.
They don't do you any good when you go into the nice, warm locker room. The rain has come back. It's a steady drizzle. It's not a hard drizzle.
And right now, what you're going to see from if I was, you know, the coaching staff for this Hilldale team is they're going to come after this punt right here. And that's what Fort Gibson is going to have to be thinking, because they have nothing to lose. Although, I mean, even if they get the first down, even if they rough the punter here, they pick up the first down, they haven't, shown the capability of throwing the football and picking up an easy or big-time touchdown. So right now they're going to come after this punt and see if they can, get a cheap one and get an easy one.
Mahaney is 8 yards back. Looks like they are going to try and come after the punt. Mahaney rolls right. Now he kicks. It's a really good punt from Mahaney. It hits at the 19-yard line, kicks up there. And that's where it'll be down, right at the 19-yard line. Time on the clock is 9 seconds. And, this is where, with experience and, if any of these guys want to go play at the next level, if you're Fort Gibson there, you let that ball bounce and bounce and bounce and take just as much time off of the clock as you can.
Yeah, there's no need to touch that ball. It doesn't benefit you in any way. But I mean, this is high school football, so some of these guys doesn't have the football IQ that you would see at the next level.
And that ball bounced once before Fort Gibson downed it. And the ball wasn't going to go anywhere, but as long as that ball is moving, technically they can't blow it dead. So that would have, it could have eaten up a few more seconds and give Hilldale even less time. With less than 10 seconds left to go, we'll see what the Hornets' plan is. They may just kneel this one out. Looks like Hilldale is lining up in that old victory formation. They're going to run a fake kneel. They run a fake kneel, Dion, and they throw it deep. Ball is up in the air and in and out of the hands of the defender that time. It was Connor Brown was trying to come up with his 5th interception of the year, but they run the fake kneel.
And you got to pull out all the stops on rivalry week, and that was a good job by the offense of trying a little trickeration there.
Yeah, great job by the defense as well, not to be fooled. Fort Gibson stays with the receiver, and hey, they're going to take a 10-point lead into halftime as they lead 13-3 over Hilldale. We got an impressive 51-yard field goal from Peyton Bennett, but Tavian Woodworth has been the workhorse for Fort Gibson, and he's been able to put them ahead.
Yeah, he certainly has, and it's going to be interesting to see what they go with here in the second half.
Well, we are going to take it to break as well here on the Bravado Wireless Game of the Week. 13-3 your score, Fort Gibson over Hilldale.
Hi, we're Bravado Wireless. You may have seen us at your local events and wondered just exactly what we do. We provide the highest quality cell phone service, specializing in outstanding coverage, both locally and nationwide. We're headquartered right here in Oklahoma, with multiple store locations in eastern Oklahoma. We provide the most affordable, unlimited talk, text, and data plans available. For a limited time, our unlimited plan is only $40 a month, and you can receive a free LG K30. Make sure you stop in now and enjoy our other amazing summer deals before they end. Visit Bravado Wireless store locations for all other details, or go to bravadowireless.com for more information. We are Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
We were there when your grandparents made their first telephone call. We were there when your parents were able to choose what to watch on cable. And now, we are here for you, providing high-speed internet service to your family. There is one thing we know for sure. No matter what happens next, Cross is here to keep you connected. Cross, serving families like yours, today and tomorrow.
You are called to be bold, to live out loud, to make the most out of every moment. You share these moments with your friends and family, side by side, across town and across the world. We are Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection, coverage, speed, service, the latest technology. These aren't options. They're not special offers. They are obligations to you. We believe in building a community, your community. Bravado Wireless.
At Bravado Wireless, we don't believe in wasting your time or ours. Our mission is to serve you with honesty and integrity. That's why we offer upfront, competitive pricing with no hidden fees in our plan. For $40 a line, you get unlimited talk, text, and data. Nationwide coverage, no data caps, and no restrictions. No matter whether it's your first, second, or third line, you only pay $40. All that with coverage on America's best network. We're your local wireless provider. Come get to know us. Go bold. Go Bravado.
Other wireless companies need 4-page brochures to explain plans that are too complicated and cost way too much. We are not like the others. We are Bravado Wireless. We offer one line of unlimited talk, text, and 4G LTE data for only $40 per month, with no minimum number of lines and no hidden fees. This is your year to be bold, connect fast at the best price. We live where you live, and we are proud to be a part of your community here in Eastern Oklahoma. We are Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
And I watch the Harlem Wizards. On the field here, I believe we're getting ready for the punt, pass, and kick competition.
Y'all not coming?
Kick is good. James Hodge Ford sponsoring the punt, pass, and kick competition. Sorry, I don't know the name of that participant there doing the kicking. Who wins a cash prize? I'm not exactly sure what that prize will be. Maybe they will come up and let me know. Congratulations to that participant. Kicking a good field goal. Been informed the winner of the punt, pass, and kick there was Hudson Naples, who's 7th grade quarterback here at Fort Gibson, and he wins $100. Congratulations, Hudson. We would again like to thank Serco Fort Gibson for being our game sponsor tonight, donating money to the Fort Gibson football program. Also, we have sponsors who have donated money through the year. These are the ones who have signs on the fence on the east side of the field. The Bank of Cherokee County, House Rock. Hamlin's Mexican Restaurant in Muskogee. Direct Traffic Control in Muskogee. Cornerstone Funeral Home in Muskogee. Armstrong Bank of Fort Gibson. Hassler Productions of Fort Gibson. Bank First in Muskogee. All Red Glass Company of Muskogee. Earl Post Frame Construction in Fort Gibson. Mike Nelson Dentistry in Fort Gibson. Muskogee Bone and Joint in Muskogee. The Ford Quick Stop in Fort Gibson. Horton Home Solutions. First Baptist Church of Fort Gibson. Heath True Value Hardware in Fort Gibson. Perry Family Farms of Fort Gibson. Pizza Inn of Muskogee. Fort Gibson Auto Refinishing in Fort Gibson. The National Barn Company of Fort Gibson. Brant Rouse Dentistry in Tahlequah. York Street Tires of Muskogee. Fix Air in Muskogee. James Hodge Ford of Muskogee. Ready, Set, and Float. Muskogee Ready Mix. Life Point Church in Muskogee. La Isla Mexican Grill in Fort Gibson. Charlie's Chicken in Fort Gibson. King Tires in Muskogee. Simple Simon's Pizza in Fort Gibson. And the Tiger Den in Fort Gibson. Thank you, sponsors, for your donations to the football program at Fort Gibson High School.
Okay. Ready? Can't hear you. Time to go. Time to go. Go. Zero. Is that? I'm sorry.
Whatever happens, we'll be there with you and your home every step of the way in your journey back. 1-800-CERCLA, like it never even happened.
some scores maybe of interest to you. In our district, Toto 7, Broken Bow 0 at halftime. Sallisaw 24, Mulgrove 0 at half. Tulsa Central 43, Stillwell 10 at half. Might be of interest, Muskogee 7, Booker T. Washington 6. And Bristow 17, Widener 0.
Welcome back. We are just set for underway. We are set for getting underway. Wow. Third quarter about to start. 13-3 in favor of Fort Gibson. Ball's on the 40-yard line, and the man of the hour for Hilldale, Peyton Bennett, puts toe to leather and puts this one on the 3-yard line. It'll be taken there, bobbled at the 3. Now it'll be taken at the 5. And the returner, Coldale Ford, finds a crease, and Ford is broken free, and then he trips over his own feet. Ford!
Oh, no! Oh, no! He was about to go for 6, and he trips up right on the 40-yard line and takes a headfirst tumble all the way down to about the 43.
Some Chevrolet owners would say that that's like a typical Ford. Gets on the road, gets to full speed, and then breaks down. Codell Ford was just tripped over the yard line. But it doesn't matter as you're watching the replay as the running back, Tavian Woodworth, takes it 10 yards for a first down and puts it into Hilldale territory. But that's a killer, Dion.
That's unfortunate.
Man, he had 6.
He's going to be talking about that one until their 10-year reunion. Remember that time versus Hilldale in the rivalry game where Ford tripped up on the 40-yard line?
You tripped over the line? Well, they're going to give it to Woodworth, running left tackle, and this time he's going to be brought down. And, you know, that's also something to keep in mind in this rivalry games we're talking about. That separates these two teams is only 10 points. That's a free 6. And if Fort Gibson doesn't capitalize on this drive, that's something to look for and, you know, write down in your book just in case.
The referees blew their whistle.
It's going to be bring up second down and long as we're just recovering from Codell Ford, who bobbled the ball, mind you, when he got it, and then broke a few tackles and was clear as day going to the goal line and then tripped over the yard marker. We got a flag on the play as the running back, Mahaney, keeps it himself. Mahaney gets about 3, but we'll have to assess this flag.
Yeah, it looks like it's thrown in the area of holding.
In case you're wondering, the rain has not stopped. In fact, I think it's picked up a little bit since we last came, as you can see on that view right there. This is when you are a football player, as that is holding, as Dion was talking about, and the ball will be moved back another 10 yards. This is when you're a football player, you are extremely glad for field turf. If this was natural grass, this would be a sloppy, muddy mess out there right now. And then as you sit right now anyway, there are 0 yards passing for both of these teams. 0.
Yeah, and that's not surprising at all. I mean, nobody had any success throwing the football, and nobody even tried.
Well, we'll see if they're going to try now as Fort Gibson lines up with wide receivers on either side. It's going to be Mahaney, keeps it on second down and very long. He makes one man miss, but runs right into the back of one of his blockers, and second down and long becomes third down and long.
And here comes the answer, and I told you during the first half, they're going to find somebody, they're going to have to find somebody else to carry the rock for this Fort Gibson team. It cannot be Woodworth, number 21, having all the carries. You can't leave this game with 50 carries. He's not going to be any good to you by the end of the season. And it looks like their answer is giving Mahaney the ball a little bit, so a couple quarterback runs.
Third and we'll call it 20. Mahaney's going to drop back, and we got some contact in the middle of the field. No flag. Now a flag comes in very late. And looks like this might be in the zone of a defensive pass interference. That would be an automatic first down.
And I'd like to take another look at that play to see exactly what the ref saw, because it looked like he hesitated on throwing the flag right there.
And Hilldale is pointing like it's going against Fort Gibson.
Take a look at the tight end releasing downfield, and that's where the contact is going to take place. It looked like maybe the defensive player established where he was, and the offensive player tried to run him over.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to call. It's going to be a pass interference. Penalty's going to be declined. That could have been an extra 15 yards that brought up third down and forever. Instead, the penalty's declined, brings up fourth down and 21. It's going to force Fort Gibson to punt, and Codell Ford tripping over the 40-yard line is going to come back to hunt Fort Gibson for at least 6. Punts away, end over end, hits just short of the 30-yard line and takes a Fort Gibson bounce to the 22. It looked like it was really close to hitting a Hilldale Hornet there, Dion, and that's what head coach of Fort Gibson, Greg Whiteley, is trying to make his case. I'm going to say that it didn't, though, and the ball is going to be spotted at the 31. That ball... So if they're saying that it's spotted at the 31, that means it must have hit somebody there, correct, Dion?
Yeah, and the crowd and the fans of this Fort Gibson Tiger team seems...
But the only person that was really around that ball was a Hilldale Hornet, so if it hit anybody, to me, it would seem like it would have hit a Hilldale person. Instead, you know, just, I don't know. Ball on the 32-yard line. You can see the rain is causing a fog on our cameras almost. It's going to be a pass. The pass is complete. If he can get a yard, that's the first passing yards of the game. It is. Pass complete from Easer to the receiver that time, I believe, is Dylan Walker. It is. Those are your first passing yards of the game, and we're no longer scoreless in the passing yards column.
Yeah, and that's a good play call there offensively for Hilldale, trying to get some of these defenders outside the box, doing a good job with a nice screen pass there And it's a good job because normally those screen passes are thrown to the wide receiver, the X and the Y, but this time they hit the slot. He's closer, easier throw for the quarterback to make.
And in this rain, you just want to make things as easy as possible. As Easter is giving it to his running back, who's making things easy until he loses the ball. Ball on the ground. We'll see who comes up with it. They're pointing. It's Fort Gibson ball. It is. And once again, Gibson takes over on off of a turnover. And Hilldale just keeps shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, and you can see this tough hit. They put the hat right on the football, and Hayes coughs it right up. You see that just hit. And that's one of the reasons why my dad would never let us wear long sleeves playing football, especially if we were carrying the ball, especially with that dry fit material. It doesn't catch on to your skin very well, and any hit or slight movement there, the ball can pop out.
So in cold weather games, what did you do?
I toughed it out.
Oh, so you're a man up here in the booth.
I would say some choice words, but I'm just going to tell you, yes, sir, I am.
Okay. Dion, tougher than nails Amade, joining Seth Campbell here in the booth. And Bravado Wireless game of the week has started off with a flurry here in the second half. A kickoff. The opening kickoff was dropped at the 3-yard line, then picked up, broke a few tackles, and Codell Ford was clear sailing to the end zone before he tripped over his own feet at his own 40-yard line. Then Hilldale takes over, has a few positive plays. We get our first passing yards of the game before they turn it over for the 3rd time today. Fort Gibson now with the ball in Hilldale territory, and they're going to give it to their workhorse. And look at Woodworth go. Woodworth breaking tackles up the middle, and he's all the way down to the 30.
Just a nice, tough, physical run by Woodworth. Take a look at this right up the middle. Great camera angle right here. You see everybody hat for a hat. Then you see the tacklers trying to grasp and hold on to Woodworth, but he keeps rolling, covering up the ball, and just flowing with it and getting down the field.
Ball in the 30. Give Woodworth left tackle again. This time he's touched up in the backfield. He keeps his feet churning, and he'll pick up, we'll call it 2, brings up 2nd and 8. That time, good pressure, and I really think it was by the entire interior of the Hilldale Hornet defense, but Jay Strobel's man that stuck out to me right there, nose guard, 6'3", 316-pound nose guard.
Yeah, that's just a good job by the defensive line, taking on the blockers and not allowing that line of scrimmage to move.
They give it to Woodworth once again. This time it looks like he kind of trips over his own feet in the backfield, and he's going to be stopped behind the line. And I think there's a safety coming up to make that play. That time was Chance Johnson, the 5'8", 160-pound senior, comes up with a big stop. And all the positive yards that Fort Gibson picked up on 1st down, they've negated them on 2nd. It brings up 3rd down and long.
3rd and long. Seems like Fort Gibson's had all their success running the football. Going to be interesting to see what they go with here.
Rain coming down. They give it to Woodworth. Left tackle, Woodworth running hard. Will get out to the 25-yard line, but he's going to be brought up 4 yards short in decision time. 25 yards away from pay dirt. 4th down and 4. You're really too close to punt it.
You got to imagine that they're going to go for it here on 4th down. Can't imagine that there's 2 kickers on this field that can kick 50-yard field goals. And with them so close to their own opponent's territory, manageable 4th down situation, you got to imagine they're going to go for it here.
Fort Gibson has shown on this drive a bunch set, 3 running backs in the backfield, 2 fullbacks and a Woodworth in the backfield. They give it to Woodworth. Woodworth is in the backfield, and he bounces it outside. If he can get to the edge, he might have the 1st down, but he is not going to. Great pursuit that time by Brayson Lawson to bring down Woodworth and bring up a turnover on downs.
And that was just a full-out foot race right there to the outside. Good job by Woodworth breaking some tackles, but look at the race over here to the edge, and a great pursuit by number 6 for Hilldale, Bryson Lawson.
Yeah, Lawson with a fantastic tackle to give the ball back to the Hornets. And it was also a good job by Woodworth to stay on his feet, but that time the play was not made by the running back, but the pursuit by the defensive back. Hilldale now on first down. They're going to give it to their running back who's just got nowhere to go.
Yeah, and he almost didn't get a hold of that handoff right there. Kind of bobbled it early.
On the run that time, Eric Virgil. They've worked in Virgil Rudd and, pardon me, not Rudd. They've worked in Virgil Walker and Hayes in the backfield. And those have been the workhorses for Hilldale. And as we said, there's not a lot of passing to be had in this game. The weather is seen to that. So both teams are trying to do it on the ground. And right now, Fort Gibson with the more success, leading 13-3. Hilldale going to the air on a screen play to the running back. Makes one man miss. I believe that's Virgil again in the backfield. But it's still not a lot doing. He picks up 3, but it brings up 3rd and 8.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because I would have liked that play thrown to the wide side of the field. I understand that you put your quarterback in a favorable position, making it a shorter throw, but just a very congested area of where he throw that screen pass to, and because of that, they don't pick up that great of yardage there on second down.
3rd down and long. See what Fort Gibson and head coach David Blevins, or pardon me, Hilldale and head coach David Blevins have drawn up. Big drop back for quarterback. This time he's going to keep it himself. Easer brought down before the line of scrimmage, but there are flags on the play. I'll have to sort this one out as the rain is coming down, and I hate to say this, Dion, but it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. This game is going to be played in the rain. Referees have some sorting out to do. Now they come to midfield, and I believe they're pointing against Hilldale. No, it's against Fort Gibson. The holding against Fort Gibson will give Hilldale a first down.
And I imagine that happened in the secondary. I mean, quarterback had all time in the world to throw the football under a little bit of pressure, but couldn't find a receiver down the field, and now you see the reason why. There was some holding there in the secondary, it seems like.
As a secondary defender, Dion, when, 3, 4, 5 seconds start elapsing, how hard is it to stay with your man?
Oh, it's difficult because then that's when they start making up routes on their own, running out in the air and just trying to find some open space in the defense.
Easter with the zone read. He has a good fake, keeps it himself, but still not a lot doing. He picks up 2, brings up 2nd down and 8. Ball spotted on the 41. They're going to move him back now to the 40. Clock rolling, 4:35. Third quarter's gone by quick. Guess that happens when you keep the ball on the ground. 2nd down and 9. There's a big game going on in this conference right now. The 4A District 4s. So we're going to have a timeout called by, and we got a flag on the play, and this is going to be a penalty against Hilldale. We got another sideline warning against the Hornets. This time it's a 5-yard penalty. They've already been warned once, so that's a penalty, pardon me, not a sideline warning, a sideline penalty. Backs them up 5 and takes it 7. 2nd down and 9, and we got another penalty. It's unsportsmanlike this time on the Hornets. This is going to go against their head coach, David Blevins, and Blevins seems to be blowing up on the sideline. Unhappy with the calls, and he's costing his team 20 yards right here on this drive.
15-yard penalty, put the ball back to the 20-yard line of Hilldale.
Hilldale having some trouble on this drive, staying ahead of the chains.
Brings up 2nd down, 29 for the Hornets.
We're talking about there's a big game in the 4A District 4. Poteau and Broken Bow, the 2 teams that are sitting atop the conference, are playing each other right now in game at halftime. Poteau leads 7-0. Keep you updated on that. It has ramifications here in the 4A District 4. Easter drops back, looks, he's got a man behind the defense, just throws it up, and it is broken up. That time on the coverage is Connor Brown. He puts a hand on it. Pass intended for TJ Maxwell.
And a good job by Maxwell trying to come back for the football and fight for it, but a good job by Brown getting his head around and making a nice play. Also with the safety, number 18, who comes over the top, Dylan Mills.
It's also a good job not committing a penalty there, because that wide receiver stopping, sometimes if you're the defensive back looking back at the ball, you can run into that receiver, and that would have been a free 15 yards, but more than that, it would have been an automatic first down if you get defensive pass interference there. So good job all around by Fort Gibson to stay out of the penalty. They're moving man-to-man on the outside as Easter drops back and he's pressured. Easter's going to have to keep it himself, steps up in the pocket to the 30, to the 35, carrying defenders to the 37 before he's hit hard there. A nice pickup by Easter. They'll give him 12, but he's still well short of the first down. Gets out to the 33, he needed to get out to the 49.
And he does a good job of eluding the pressure in the backfield, but just a lot of ground to cover right there, and takes a vicious hit towards the end of that one.
So we've had a punting fest so far in the third quarter, 3:30 and counting, 13-3. Fort Gibson with the lead, but neither team really getting anything going in these muggy, murky, rainy day. Punt hits at the 35. We'll take a roll and roll out of bounds at the 31. Fort Gibson will take over at their own 31-yard line. 3:16 left to go, third quarter. I'm going to let you know that this game is brought to you by Bravado Wireless. Do you ever feel like it is impossible to get quality internet if you live outside of town? Well, check out Bravado Wireless's unlimited internet. Quality service at an unbeatable rate. That's Bravado. They also got anything and everything you could need. They got the new iPhone 11 Pro. They can hook you up. Two wide receivers split out very wide. Two running backs to either side of Mahaney. He gives it this time to who other than Tavian Woodworth. And Woodworth picks up about 2 yards. Brings up second down and 8 for Fort Gibson.
Tackled by McWilliams of the Hornets. Second down, 8.
What's at stake in this game is a lot if you're Fort Gibson. You hold a 13-3 lead and you're trying to break a 5-game win streak for the Hornets. They've held the rock, which is literally a rock that they pulled out of the Arkansas River. And they pass between the two teams as Mahaney gets the snap. It rolls back to him. He's going to throws it in the middle of the field, and it is complete. Fort Gibson with their first completed pass of the night. And it's a big one as the intended target comes down with it. And I believe was that Jesse Rudd? Yeah. Jesse Rudd comes down with it, puts the ball into Hilldale territory, and Mahaney makes something out of nothing here.
Yeah, Mahaney doing a good job of just setting up, throwing the ball, almost in triple coverage right there, man-to-man defense, but all the defenders are able to fall off and attack the ball, and Rudd doing a good job of going up and helping his quarterback and attacking it himself.
Another low stat. This time Mahaney gets it to Woodworth, and Woodworth turns his feet. Yards after contact for Woodworth. He probably picked up 5 or 6 on that drive, on that run alone, and brings up second down and we'll call it 3 as he picks up 7.
Nice tough run right there. Looks like that passing play got this offense and this crowd back into the game.
As we talked about, these two teams very close to each other. 20 minutes, 14 miles separates these two high schools, and the Arkansas River lays between as well. So what they decided to do in 2004, they went to the river, pulled out a rock, and decided they're going to play for this. As the snap is going to roll back to Woodworth, and the rain could be becoming a factor here, Dion, as the center and quarterback exchange is becoming very, very perilous.
Yeah, it's 3 plays in a row that the ball is dribbled back to the quarterback, almost in a situation where it seems like the center can't get a clean grasp of the football.
Take another look at the replay. Brought to you by Bravado Wireless. Big third down upcoming. Be interesting to see. They will. I was going to say, be interesting to see if they go under center here. They do. Look like a bobbled exchange, and the play under center takes a little longer to develop, and Woodworth is brought down in the backfield. Looked looked like the first man to get there is number 6, Brayson Lawson. Lawson with the big tackle. 4th down and 4 upcoming for the Tigers.
Good defensive stand there on 3rd down. Now it's gut check time here. 4th and 4. It looks like they're going to wait and take this play in the 4th quarter.
The clock rolling. They do not have to snap it, and they're not going to. Well, that is going to wrap it up for the 3rd quarter here. A quick 3rd quarter as both teams only go to the air a few times, but we've got a great game coming up. 13-3 in the Battle of the Rock as Fort Gibson leads the Hilldale Hornets here on the Bravado Wireless Game of the Week.
There is truly no place like home. Right here in Eastern Oklahoma, Bravado Wireless provides the best unlimited talk, text, and data for only $40 a month. We believe in strong, connected communities. That's why we live stream community events like local football games. You may not know us by name, but we'll be at the same festivals and cheering for our kids on the same sidelines. Because we live where you live. Visit BravadoWireless.com or visit one of our stores, where we make it easy to join our family. Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection.
Welcome back. 12 minutes separate the Tigers from the Rock. For the first time in 5 years. 4th down, and it looks like the quarterback, Mahaney, is going to drop back. He's in punt formation. He's going to punt this away. The ball's going to hit at the 5-yard line. His team needs to get down there, though. His team was not able to get down there, and it rolls into the end zone. Not a bad punt if you're Mahaney. He didn't get enough air on it, though, to allow his team to get back and field it, and it goes into the end zone. It'll be spotted at the 20-yard line.
I'll tell you one thing, though, with it being the last quarter of the game, it's going to be interesting to see how both of these teams trifubulate what they're going to do throughout this contest, because for Fort Gibson's side, it's going to be very important that they run the ball and be successful in getting up the field and keeping the ball away from Hilldale. And Hilldale, they have to find a way to get this ball into the end zone and stay away from the turnovers.
Earlier in the game, you couldn't really see from our 50-yard line camera the rain. You can now. The rain has picked up. It's the hardest it's rained this entire game. They're going to give it in the backfield, Hilldale is, to their running back, Hayes. And Hayes bounces it outside. Hayes to the 25 to the 30. Bounced out of bounds around the 34-yard line. He picks up the 1st down, though, and a positive play for the Hornets gets their drive going.
And looks like there was some collisions over there on the sideline. Seat number 31 a little gimped up over there on the bench. Hopefully he's all right.
It's going to be an official's timeout as they are going to deal with an injured player. Both teams go to their benches. You can see the injured player in the corner of your screen. That looks like Devin Brandt. Brandt, the 6'3", 260-pound senior. And you think about it on both sides of this rivalry, Dion, the seniors for Hilldale, they've never known a football team that hasn't owned the Rock. Meanwhile, Fort Gibson's never had a football team that has owned the Rock. So 2 very different perspectives and 2 teams really fighting in this rivalry game. We've seen a few good rivalries this year. Eufaula versus Shakota is another one. There was a fantastic atmosphere that we did earlier in the year.
Yeah, very, very exciting ball game over there in Eufaula.
Walker
doing a good job in the open field, making a move and getting up the field for another 1st down.
Yeah, Walker gets out in the open field, as you said, picks up the 1st down, and 2 plays to the outside for Hilldale has moved the chains.
Yeah, nice little short screen pass to the slot wide receiver once again. They unveiled that first play in the 3rd quarter, having some success with that.
Clock rolling. Under 11 minutes, 15 seconds. You got to believe, there's got to be a little bit of pep in your step if you're Hilldale. You don't know how many possessions are left in this game, and you got to score twice. The quarterback Easter makes a man miss, makes another one miss in the backfield. He's looking to throw, now he's going to run. Easter throws the ball up in the air, and it's going to be incomplete. There's a flag down.
Yeah, he was definitely past the line of scrimmage there, and that is not a pass that you want to throw. And that's something a young quarterback's going to have to learn. You know, be aware of your surroundings. He's definitely past the line of scrimmage. He should have just picked up the positive yards.
And this could be another mental mistake by Hilldale that has cost them in this game. Last drive, it was sideline infractions and personal fouls. This drive, throwing the ball past the line of scrimmage. I mean, they've had turnovers as well. Just seems like everything that could go right for Fort Gibson, besides tripping over the 40-yard line, has gone right.
Yeah, and here's another thing. Now you're going to get your team behind the chains once again. And because of that, they're going to be pressing, trying to get this first down.
So he throws it beyond the line of scrimmage, and I believe if I saw the official signal right, it's going to be a loss of yardage. And it looked like he held up 2 fingers, did he not, Dion? Is that a loss of down as well? They're still saying on the dial-a-down that it's a first down, so we'll go with them. They seem to know more than we do. Clock stopped. As Easter drops back, rolls left, throws in the middle of the field, complete at the 50-yard line. Complete that time to Hunter Parson, and Hilldale's finding some success through the air on this drive.
Yeah, that's a great grab by Hunter Parsons. Go up with strong hands and rip that one down.
As the rain is picked up to the hardest it's been all game, Hilldale decides to switch it up and go to the air with some success. Ball on the 50-yard line. 2nd down and 8 to go. Two wide receivers near side of the screen. Offset eyes. Easter's going to throw again. They're going to set up a screen pass. Walker complete to the 50, to the 45, to the 40. First down. Hilldale as he's brought down just short of the 35-yard line. Great play call there. If you're head coach David Blevins, a great execution by Walker and Easter.
Yeah, great job. And as well, that's a play that can go back to because the running back, number 25, Eric Virgil, was open on the outside as well.
That's got a play with multiple layers to it, and Hilldale blocks it well as they get all the way down. They're going to spot it at the 35-yard line. 35 yards separate them from their first touchdown of the game. 13-3 the score. 51-yard field goal by Peyton Bennett is the only point so far. A read option, they're going to give it to Walker on the outside. Walker bounces it to the outside beyond the numbers as he's tracked out of bounds and hit out of bounds at the 31. Pick up a 4, and that's another positive yards. They're going to call it 5 now, so he's going to get all the way out to the 30, pick up a 5 for Hilldale on first down.
Now that they're driving the field.
We've got an official's timeout. They want to see if they should roll the clock or stop the clock.
And he says he got tackled in bounds.
So clock is rolling. Maybe. On the official's whistle. There it goes. Clock rolls. Easter in the gun. Give up the middle. Looks like Virgil, the running back, but nothing doing for Virgil. He'll pick up 1. They're down in 4. That time a nice job by the Tigers to sniff it out.
Yeah, and I thought Virgil had something towards the outside there. It looked like he kind of ran straight into that offensive line into a blocked player.
Revisit your keys a little bit here, Dion. For Hilldale, what were your keys to this game, and how have they done a job of executing it here? As we'll tell you after this play, as Easter drops, throws the sideline complete right at that first down marker. It's going to depend on the spot. It looks like they're going to give it to him. He needed to get to the 25-yard line, and I believe that's where they're going to spot him. First down, pass complete to Walker. It's a first down.
Yeah, that's a great job by Walker being able to snag that ball out of the air because that ball wasn't really thrown in his area code, but he makes a leaping catch and contorts his body to make an acrobatic catch indeed.
We talked about Walker at the beginning of the game. One of our players to watch out for as an outside linebacker and as a receiver, and he's shown his utility as a receiver as a give to Virtual and nothing doing for the Hilldale running back. He stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Loss of 3 brings up 2nd and 13. And as we're talking about, I want to get back to this. Your keys for the game for Hilldale, Dion. How have the Hornets done in executing them?
Well, they haven't done such a great job because, I mean, the big one right now that you're looking at is no mistakes and no turnovers. And they haven't done such a great job of that. And honestly, you know, Fort Gibson, they got the edge in the trenches as far as the offensive and defensive line. So they're going to have to pick it up here in this last quarter to try to steal this one away.
Clock rolling under 8 minutes. Easter going to the air. He's got time, sets his feet, got a man wide open. Complete at the 8 and in and out of his hands. Are you kidding me?
He was wide open.
Hunter Parson just can't come up with it.
Watch this. It's a nice execution by the receivers. It's an out and up. Right here, a double move, and he brings it into his body, and that's why they teach the young receivers to catch with their hands, especially in this weather, as your body's wet, as your arms are wet. You cannot catch the ball with your body. You have to bring it in with your hand. That's unfortunate because that was a touchdown for the Hornets.
It wasn't a great pass by Easter either. He set his feet late, and just tried to get it. Sometimes the hardest passes to throw are the most open. He got it up there. It was kind of a duck, but I mean, that's not one of those where you say, oh, it hit his hands, he should have caught it. That was one of those that he should have caught it. Parson couldn't come up with it. It brings up the play as Walker is trying to bounce it to the outside, and he's brought down hard. Take another look here on the replay.
Walker tries to bounce it out. And a good job keeping contained is number 7.
Maurice Ford, he's making up for tripping over the 40-yard line earlier. There must have been a penalty on that play, though, Dion. This is 2nd down. So that was 1st down. The play we were talking about, Parson dropping the ball, there must have been a penalty against Fort Gibson. As they give it out in the flat to Walker, this time the running back screen play not doing much as Walker's brought down behind the line of scrimmage and Hilldale's going the wrong direction.
Yeah, that's going to be a loss of about 5 right there.
Loss of 5 brings up 3rd and 20. With the clock at 6:30 now, really feel like Hilldale's got to come away with some kind of points. Now, they do have a kicker that has shown he can make a field goal from this distance, but you really felt like a touchdown here would be huge for Hilldale. 3rd down and long. Easter drops back, looks left, throws, middle of the field. Complete at the 5-yard line, just short. This is going to bring up decision time for the Hornets. That time, the intended target and receiver is TJ Maxwell, who comes up with it. The senior comes out with a big play, brings up 4th down and 2. And all right, Dion, do you go for it here?
I think you kind of have to. I mean, the success that your offense has been having, they haven't done a good job of moving the ball down the field. But it looks like they're going to bring in the field goal unit.
That's a tough decision. You're 5 yards away from pay dirt, 2 yards away from a new set of downs. You feel like this may be your best opportunity to put it in the end zone, but at the same time, you can't take points off of the board. The snap is up, the snap is back, the hold is down, and the kick is up and good. Hilldale gets on the board, and they bring themselves within 8. That's still a touchdown game. They decide to take the points. 13-6 is scoring. We've got a good one. Stay with us. 5:24 left to go. 4th quarter, 13-6 in favor of Fort Gibson.
This broadcast is a copyright of Bravado Wireless. This game and broadcast should not be reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed without the express written consent of Bravado Wireless and its management.
Welcome back to Fort Gibson. The Battle of the Rock. 2 field goals put through by Peyton Bennett has pulled the Hornets within 13-6. I think I said it was an 8-point game. That's actually 7. Math is not my strong suit. 13-6 the score. And the reason why it's 13-6, Fort Gibson has scored 2 touchdowns, but on their first touchdown, a missed extra point causes the score to be 13-6. As the kick is away and it's a pooch kick, it's going to hit at the 25, hit the shoes of the returner. The ball still on the ground. We're going to see who comes away with it. Fort Gibson falls on it right around the 25-yard line. That could have been a disaster, Dion.
Yeah, it really could have. Never really got complete control of the football until the very end there.
All right, Fort Gibson, this is where the rubber meets the road right here. 5:28 left to go, 4th quarter. If you can sustain a drive right here, you can take home the Rock for the first time in 5 years.
Although it's 5 minutes and 20 seconds left in the ball game, this is kind of the position where you enact that 4-minute offense.
Give. It's to the running back, Woodsworth. Woodsworth bounces it outside and it's close to that first down marker. There is an injured Hornet on the field. They're going to give Woodsworth the first down. At the 25-yard line is a defensive lineman for the Hornets, and they're going to have to come out and make sure that he is okay. Get a number on who that is.
Looks like number 58.
Devin Brandt, the 6'3", 260-pound defensive end. A senior on the Hornets squad. We've seen his Hornets prevail in this game time and time again. The overall series is tied as well. This is the 37th meeting between these two teams. And it couldn't be any tighter. This is exactly what you want to have a rivalry game. 18 wins for Fort Gibson, 18 wins for Hilldale. Now, it's been pretty lopsided the last 5 years, as we've said multiple times. But Hilldale and Fort Gibson with a rivalry right now that's coming down to the wire. Mahaney is in the gun. He gives to Woodsworth once again. Woodsworth breaks a tackle, breaks another one out to the 40, to the 45, picks up that first down. Bounced out of bounds at the 48, and 2 hard runs by Woodsworth have put the Hornets, or pardon me, the Tigers at midfield.
Good, nice touchdown-saving, sure tackle by Chance Johnson once again.
It's also a nice job by Woodsworth there to pick up as much yardage as he could and fall in bounds. The clock is still running. Under 5 minutes to go. We talk about a 2-minute offense, but how hard is it to run a 4-minute offense as well, Dion?
I mean, it's difficult picking up those first downs and continuing to move the football.
Play clock winding down, and this is going to be a timeout for Fort Gibson. They know how crucial this drive is. They call the timeout and they pump up their home crowd. This is a crowd that's hungry for a win, and we're hungry for the end of this game. 4:40 left to go, 13-6 in favor of the Tigers as they look to take home the Rock here in the Battle of the Rock in Fort Gibson.
To connect in your home, to your community, and to the world. From your land, we are Bravado Wireless. We are your high-speed internet provider based right here in eastern Oklahoma. With the latest technology, we offer coverage in more underserved areas than ever, with 4G LTE speeds and no installation needed. We're faster and more reliable than the competition, and at $59.99 a month, we're more affordable too. Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection.
Welcome back. First First down on the 48-yard line. Fort Gibson trying to put this game away with a huge drive. They give it to Woodsworth. Trying to bounce out left tackle Woodsworth. I mean, he just finds a hole when there isn't one. He picks up 8 yards when it looked like he was going to be dropped behind the line of scrimmage. Ball on the 45, and man, Woodsworth is getting it done here on this last drive.
I mean, that's what you need, a workhorse, somebody who can, you know, ice out the clock, pick up those tough yards, and get first downs when you really need it. And right now, this one's for the Rock, baby.
If you're head coach David Blevins, the coach of Hilldale, when do you start using your timeouts?
I say when it gets to that 2-minute mark and you know the game is kind of getting away from you, you got to have to, you know, start stopping the clock somehow.
Ball bounces back to Mahaney. He gives to Woodsworth. This time, Woodsworth brought down at the line of scrimmage. Couldn't bounce off of any tackles there, and brings up 3rd down and 3.
Right now, this was an important stop for this defense to try to come up with. Woodward has been gashing them all game long, but they need to figure out a way to come up with a stop here. Let's see what the offensive play call is going to be.
With the rain coming down in Fort Gibson, it all comes down to 3rd down and 3. Give Woodworth left side. Hit at the line of scrimmage and dropped there.
Is it the guy that I think it is? Number 81, Chance Johnson, comes up with the big stop on 3rd down.
It is a stop, brings up 4th down, and
he has been a man on fire today. I cannot commend his defense performance enough. Chance Johnson, number 81. Show the replay one more time as he comes up like a heat-seeking missile there on 3rd down. Check out the replay. There he is right here at the top of your screen. T-step, come down, finish strong, young man. And that's a 3rd down stop, what this defense really needed.
Yeah, Chance Johnson was not giving Woodsworth another chance there to get the 1st down.
That's a 9. That's a 9.
Nice firm handshake up here in the booth, but down on the field, the nerves have got to be escalating as a 4th down and 1 is upcoming, and got to see what the plan is for both teams here. Timeout was called on the field. 3 minutes and 5 seconds left to go in the 4th quarter. The timeout goes against Hilldale, so they have 2 left.
And there's a lot of talking going on in that Fort Gibson huddle. It's very important for this defense to be on their toes right here. You got to watch out for the fake. It's not a guarantee that they're going to punt the football.
Now 4th down and 1. Ball on the 43-yard line.
They're going to go for it.
They line up. They got Mahaney under center. Woodsworth in the backfield.
They got to watch the snap count.
They shift over to the right. Play clock is at 10 seconds. They got plenty of time. A fake snap, or probably not a fake snap, a hard count like you were talking about, and they're going to call a timeout. They're going to see if they can get Hilldale to jump off sides. They were successful with that earlier in the game. This time, not so much.
And a great job by the defense of Hilldale, being disciplined, knowing the situation, and staying on sides.
You got to believe Blevins was in that huddle there before that play saying, do not jump, do not jump, do not jump.
And sometimes with an offensive, with a coach in that situation, you want to make your defense aware of the situation, but it's also you don't want to, harp it on them too much and get them playing on their heels and allow the team to pick up that easy 1st down.
Got to ride that fine line, and man, it's a line that separates Fort Gibson from a 1st down here. A line of about 1 yard exactly. See what the Tigers decide to do now. They're in the huddle. Ball's on the left hash. 43-yard line. The official spots it. Play clock running. Under 20 seconds. They line up again. Shift right. Mahaney snaps it. They give it to Woodsworth. Left side, Woodsworth, 1st down. He gets out to the 39 before he's dropped, but a huge 1st down for Fort Gibson. And Tavian Woodsworth comes up huge once again.
There's no trickeration right here. Right off tackle, right to the primary spot of where they've been running the football all night. and they pick up just enough for the first down. And now is where you have to start thinking about calling some of these timeouts from the Hilldale side. They have 2 left.
You only have 2. The clock is under 3 minutes. They give Woodsworth right side. That time a good tackle by a host of Hilldale defenders. Drops Woodsworth 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And you got to call it, I believe you call your timeout here. They're not going to. You never, my philosophy here, Dion, and I'm not a head coach, and so I don't know, but my philosophy here is if you feel like you're down to where you got to call your timeouts, you call your timeouts early in the downs because you never know what's going to happen on your next down. Say that Woodsworth fumbles on the next down. Well, if you would have called your timeouts, you would have had an extra 40 seconds to deal with. Instead, you're guaranteed to lose these 40 seconds because nothing happened on that down. We'll see if it pays off for Hilldale there. Hilldale defense couldn't get set. Woodsworth gets the ball left side, breaks a few tackles at the line of scrimmage. Woodsworth in the open field to the 25, to the 20. Brought down there, a huge first down. And I guess that's where it comes in handy that you didn't use your timeouts because you still can keep this game and give your team a chance after Woodsworth, some nifty moves up the middle, kicks up another first down.
Woodsworth just doing the same thing he's done throughout this game, just breaking arm tackles and getting up the field.
Tavian Woodsworth, a man's game today.
And he's touched the ball 35+ times this evening, and he's still running with a ferocious rushing attack that you saw in the first quarter.
They give Woodsworth, once again, this time he leaves his feet and is brought down right at the 21-yard line, the original line of scrimmage. If you're Woodsworth, it's not what you want to see, or if you're Fort Gibson either. Woodsworth is so dynamic when he stays on his feet. You never want to see him lose them. Hilldale calls a timeout. That's their second timeout of the half. Clock stops at 1:25 left to go. 1:25, 13-6 in favor of Fort Gibson, and they're so close they can taste the rock. Wouldn't probably advise eating a rock out of the Arkansas River, but you do you, Fort Gibson.
That's exactly what you just said.
Look at that stat line popping up from our score bug. Tavian Woodsworth, 40 carries, 185 yards. A man's game.
That's a Chuba Hubbard type night. 30+ carries and almost 200 yards.
He's well over 1,300 yards on the season, pushing 1,400. Tavian Woodsworth is your Bravado Wireless player of the game. It's the first time we've ever done that, but I'm doing it now, Dion.
Yeah,
he deserves it.
I mean, it's your world. We're just living in it. Go
All
ahead.
right. Woodsworth carry number 41, and he is still a brute to bring down. 4 yards.
Hilldale's going to call another timeout.
That's their last timeout. 3rd down and 6 upcoming.
They can't stop the clock from here. It's going to be up to that defense.
1:12, the play clock. The game clock will not start until the play clock, or pardon me, until the ball is snapped. So 1:12, a 40-second play clock. So as soon as the play is over, the play clock starts. You got to assume that there's probably going to be 25-ish seconds left if Fort Gibson can come up with a stop on 3rd down. And then you got to believe it. You know, you're right here on the 16-yard line. Do you have a kicker that can kick in a field goal this far? And if you do, you use them here. And then if you don't, you might go for it if you're Fort Gibson. This one's for the Rock. Woodsworth breaks a tackle, 1st down. And that should do it, Dion. Woodsworth with a huge run on 3rd down.
And they almost didn't get that play off. A lot of penetration in the backfield, tackling the quarterback before he even is able to hand off the ball, but just enough time for Mahaney to hand off the ball to Woodsworth, and he takes that one all the way down to about the 7-yard line. That's enough for a first down.
Hey, we'll give Woodsworth 11 on that carry so that we can say that he rushed for 42 carries, 200 yards on the game, and his individual effort along with his offensive line and some very, very opportunistic defensive plays are going to give Fort Gibson their first victory in this Battle of the Rock. As we got some late flags coming in here, Dion, and maybe some emotions are seeping out for both teams. That celebration is going to have to hold off for just a little bit longer for the Tigers.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate right there for that offensive line member who decided to block after the whistle, because that stops the clock.
You're going to have to snap it again. Now, it shouldn't matter. You should just be able to take a knee again. The unsportsmanlike goes against Fort Gibson. As Dion said, they are going to have to snap the ball again. Have to handle it one more time, but unless there's a miracle here, Fort Gibson should break a 5-game winning streak from Hilldale. Mahaney under center. Gets it, takes the knee, and that'll do it. Go crazy, Fort Gibson. The Rock is yours.
And for this Hilldale team, it was just too many mistakes that they could not overcome. And for Fort Gibson, just a great defensive effort, staying strong, winning the battles in the trenches all night. And then when they needed it the most, number 21, Woodworth, comes up big time after time after time.
Tavian Woodsworth, as I said, our very first ever Bravado Wireless Player of the Game, and oh man, does he deserve it. What an effort. As Fort Gibson comes over to the sideline, they're going to celebrate with their students, with their cheerleaders on the 30-yard line. They break a streak of 5 consecutive victories for the Hilldale Hornets, and you could tell this game meant something to them.
Yeah, it certainly did. 5 years in the making, and the Rock finally comes back home to Fort Gibson.
Gonna have to dust it off and bring it back to the fort. On a muggy night, and not necessarily, I keep saying muggy, on a wet night is really the proper adjective there. A wet night here in Fort Gibson. The Tigers did just enough, capitalized on opportunities. You see they're on the 40-yard line, and there's the Rock, Dion.
The one that I was asking for before the game, and I finally get to see it. And the cheerleaders and the teammates and the whole student body comes and celebrates.
Yeah, they zoom in right there. You can see on your screen, the Rock rolls to Fort Gibson.
You gotta love rivalry games, Seth. You gotta love rivalry games.
There's just some extra passion, some extra motivation, and extra want-to that happens during this rivalry game, and Fort Gibson comes away with the victory. And you can look at Woodsworth out there top of the pile. What a scene.
And if anybody deserves to be on the top of the mountain right there, it's number 21, Woodworth.
Yeah, Woodsworth, some great runs tonight. Scored 1 of 2 touchdowns, and really responsible for both of them. Both times his drives and his runs really set up those touchdowns. We take a look at the Bravado Wireless replays of the game. An interception there for Brown. You know, he got one that is his team leading 4th, I believe. And, you know, it was just an all-around effort for Fort Gibson. The defense did it there. And, you know, they were able to capitalize on mistakes by Hilldale, and yeah, Hilldale helped him. As you can see, Woodsworth punches it in.
And the thing is, this Fort Gibson Tigers team did it the old-fashioned way. Talking to both of these head coaches before the game started, we knew it was going to be a wet, muggy, foggy, you know, dirty kind of a game here on Fort Gibson's home turf. And they both understood that they were going to need to run the football and play defense. And when the whistle blew and when it counted the most and when they had to go between the white lines, it was Fort Gibson that played the game the old-fashioned way, blocking, running, and playing nice, excellent defense.
You got to give your hats off to the Hilldale kicker there, Peyton Bennett. I mean, a 51-yard field goal. You see guys miss that in college all of the time. To see that go through in high school is a fantastic effort, as you're going to see here. This is going to be a play that haunts Coaldale Ford in his dreams, but he breaks some tackles and is all by himself and then just trips over the 40-yard line.
Yeah, and I'm telling you right now, 10-year reunion, Ford's going to come back, and everybody's going to be, remember the time you tripped over your own feet going into the end zone versus the Hilldale Hornets in the Battle of the Rock rivalry. So that one's going to haunt them.
Luckily for Fort Gibson, it didn't matter. They were able to make enough plays in the first half on offense, and then as you're talking about, the defense coming up with some huge stops. And it looked like Hilldale, even when they were driving, they were able to stop them, keep them out of the end zone, and force them to kick a field goal as they get into great field position right here.
Yeah, they did some great jobs on defense, making sure that they gave this offense every opportunity to stay ahead and not get behind on the scoreboard. It was very impressive by both of these teams.
Yep. Seth Campbell, former Oklahoma State safety, Dion Amade up here in the booth. And we want to thank you for joining us here on the Bravado Wireless Game of the Week. And all right, we'll start with, the Peyton Bennett, the 51-yard field goal, as we talking about. You know, he puts two through the uprights and really keeps Hilldale in this game.
Yeah, he really did. They couldn't find ways to get, when they got into the red zone, they couldn't find ways to capitalize on that. So just coming away with some points, keeping them in this game was very important. Bennett doing it in a spectacular fashion with a 51-yard field goal and then one down here, especially with the conditions being what it was, wet, rainy conditions, still being able to get the ball on the turf and kick it up through the uprights was very impressive.
And as we were talking about the Fort Gibson defense, you knew that these teams were going to try and establish the line of scrimmage. It was going to be a very heavy run game, and Fort Gibson on both sides of the line able to establish and really control the game there.
Yeah, they really did. This is a physical game. This is a physical matchup, and this rivalry games, they become even more physical. And the team that's stronger, the team that's more physical, the team that's the toughest is the one that's going to come out with the victory. And today, that was the Fort Gibson Tigers.
And then we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Tavian Woodsworth. We're going to give him 42 carries, 200 yards. It may have been 199, but 200 sounds better.
Man, for the way that he worked and the way he kept those legs moving, it ought to be 2. Should be 3. 42 carries and a game that they wanted so bad. They said, hey, you take this and you carry us. And he put the team on his back tonight, and he carried them into a victory.
You could tell that this game meant a lot to Fort Gibson. It almost looked like it meant more to them than to Hilldale. And you can't judge the 1-2 of players. They both went out there, and both teams played really hard. But Fort Gibson, you could just tell, fighting tooth and nail on every single play, wanted this game.
5 games in a row, 5 years in a row, 5 seasons in a row. This Hilldale Hornets team has taken the rock back to Hilldale. Well, Fort Gibson said enough is enough, and they put the ball in Tavian Woodward's hand, and they took it in for the Battle of the Rock, and they won that thing.
Yeah, they're going to have to dust off their spot here in Fort Gibson and put the rock in its rightful places. They're going to keep it for 365 days. We want to thank you so much for joining us here on the Bravado Wireless Game of the Week. For Dion Amade and our entire Bravado Wireless crew, we want to thank you so much and tell you to tune in next week here on Bravado Wireless. So long.
You are called to be bold. You have a right to the best wireless service, high-speed internet, and customer service at a price you can feel good about. At Bravado Wireless, we know this, and that's why we put you and your community first. We are owned and operated right here in Eastern Oklahoma. We live where you live. We proudly connect you to your family, friends, and business partners wherever they are. Dallas, Seattle, Taipei, Toronto, and anywhere else in the world. We are Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection.